And a warm welcome to Wembley Stadium. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. I'm Ian Dennis. I'm in the company of the former England international goalkeeper Paul Robinson, as we will have England against Belgium in this Alzheimer's Society international match for what will be probably in the region of 87,000 here at Wembley Stadium on what is an atrocious night weather-wise. It's been torrential rain that has been falling for the past few hours now in the capital. And these are the two teams. England have made 5 changes from the side that lost to Brazil at the weekend. Jordan Pickford is once again in goal. Ezri Konsa makes his first start at right back. John Stones and Lewis Dunk are the two central defenders, with Ben Chilwell once again playing at left back. 2019 was the last time that he started back-to-back games for England. In the midfield, Kobbie Mainoo, Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice. Kobbie Mainoo, who at 18 years and 342 days is the third youngest Manchester United player to start for England, behind Duncan Edwards and Marcus Rashford. Phil Foden, Ivan Toney and Jared Bowen are the front three. Ivan Toney, his first start, and of course it's his first appearance in a year after his debut last March for the last 9 minutes against Ukraine. As for Belgium, well, they have made 7 changes from the team that drew 0-0 with the Republic of Ireland in Dublin. Matt Sells, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, Timothy Castagne, Jan Vertonghen, Zeno de Bast and Arta Teyat at left back. Yuri Tielemans, Orel Mangala and Amadou Onana in the midfield. Leandro Trossard, Romelu Lukaku and Jeremy Doku are the front three. And whilst the crowd here at Wembley are now being treated to a light show, Paul Robinson, there's some familiar players in that Belgian side who are incidentally yet to lose under their coach Tedesco. But what did you make of the England team and the changes that Gareth Southgate has made?
Well, good evening, Ian. Good evening, all. He's made a lot of changes that were enforced on him, hasn't he? We know about the injury problems that he's suffered, and I think he spoke openly in his press conference about them prior to the game tonight, that it's the worst one that he's had, the amount of players that he's got missing and the amount of players in key areas that he's got missing. I mean, there's the likes of Harry Kane, who's not missed an England game for a number of years now, really key, really important players. That, on the flip side of that, it's given him an opportunity to look at others. I'm not so sure it's the way that he would have wanted these two friendlies. You look at the game against Brazil and you look now against Belgium. England are ranked 3 in the world, Belgium 4, Brazil 5. There's a reason that he picked these two games, and I don't think he's been able to put his full complement out and test the opposition like he'd wanted to. The game on Saturday, I was here for the game, and I was disappointed with the team performance. I think there was some good individual performances, but I think the manager will look at that, and that there was not a lot of positives, although he tried to, that he could take away from that game.
The injury situation since the weekend has certainly not got any better. Kane, Maguire, Johnston joining Saka, who have all withdrawn, and in fact Jordan Henderson picked up an injury in training yesterday, and although he's actually named amongst the substitutes, he wasn't warming up when the substitutes were limbering up pre-match. So I mean, Jordan Henderson is added to that list, so in that respect it's another added problem for Gareth Southgate.
It's an added problem, but we get to see the likes of Konsa, Dunk, Kobbie Mainoo again, Jared Bowen, Ivan Toney, players that we quite often talk about week in and week out, saying these lads should be given an opportunity, they should be given a chance in the England team. If he's got a full complement, there's criticisms that we do say about the England manager sometimes. He's too trusting of a certain group of players, he's too reliant on the same formation and the same group of players, whereas now it gives him another opportunity to go away from the tried and tested, to go away from the two sitting midfielders that he normally picks, to the plethora of attacking talent that we know is there as an England team. It gives him an opportunity to play to the strengths rather than defend the weaknesses.
Well, this is the last game before Gareth Southgate names his training squad on the 21st of May, before the 2 warm-up games ahead of the Euros, Bosnia and Iceland in June. And so for Ivan Toney, this is really his one and only audition, isn't it, to stake a claim for a place in the Euros?
Well, it's going to be between him and Ollie Watkins if you look at it, head to head. And in all honesty, I think from my personal point of view, I'd take Ivan Toney. I just think he gives you that impact off the bench, the quality that he's got, his pace. You put them head to head, stats and figures, Ivan Toney's nowhere near Ollie Watkins. Granted, he's missed half the season, but actually his stats, his goals, his assists, etc. But I just think with Ivan Toney, he gives you that something different. I think he's a goal threat. I think he's cool, calm in front of goal. And one big thing that we don't always take into consideration is penalties. He's so good at penalties. And you look at the history with England and penalties in tournaments, you have a striker that can have an impact like that off the bench and is almost going to guarantee you a penalty if it goes to penalties. It's a valuable asset.
Well, what a moment this is for Declan Rice, the Arsenal midfielder on his 50th cap for his country, leading England out. For when he said yesterday to John Murray he was left speechless when Gareth Southgate broke the news to him that he would be the captain, the 13th different captain under Gareth Southgate, as we will now stand for the national anthems here at Wembley Stadium, starting off with that of Belgium. Far side, there are over 2,500 Belgian supporters, mainly all in red. The scarves were held aloft, as now it's the anthem for England. Of St George, a mosaic formed in the stand away towards our left-hand side, as England are wearing for the first time the new away kit, all purple, whereas for Belgium they're in their change strips with the deep sky blue shirts and the dark brown shorts. But as you said, Paul, you know, Brazil ranked 5th in the world, Belgium ranked 4th, England 3rd, for those who pay attention to those FIFA rankings. So this will, you know, these are two deliberately high-profile games to test England for Gareth Southgate.
I think that was the thinking when they arranged the games, absolutely. I mean, the huge games to have here at Wembley, the home English football, and it's the two great spectacles, another packed Wembley, even though it hasn't stopped raining since 3 o'clock this afternoon. The fans have turned out in the thousands again to see that their England team take on another tough challenge. And in Belgium, we know there's been so much potential in the Belgium team over the years, hasn't there? They've been the nearly men, if you like, so close in tournaments. You look at the quality that they've had in that squad, the managers that they've had over the years, but they've never actually fulfilled that potential. Under the new manager now, unbeaten in the last 12 games. They've not been beaten since the 2022 World Cup against Morocco. 3 clean sheets in a row. They're a different proposition, and they're certainly on the up again going into the Euros.
England have just posed for a team photo behind the banner that says an Alzheimer's Society International, because of course football should be unforgettable, but it's a reminder for thousands of fans that actually isn't the case. 1 in 3 people are living with dementia without a diagnosis, and certainly this game is to highlight the good cause that goes to try and raise as much awareness as possible. As actually the Belgian players have come to the side of the pitch and they've formed a huddle, not just with the starting 11, but members of the substitute and some of the coaching staff as well.
Well, that's interesting to see. I mean, quite often we talk about friendlies being far too friendly, but the way that Romelu Lukaku, who's captain the Belgian side tonight, gathered his players together, manager, coaching staff, and he was quite vocal in there. You could see with his gesturing with his arms, and he was, look, we're up for this game tonight. So if England thought they were going to be in a friendly tonight, it certainly would appear from the outset that this Belgian team are very much up for this game.
It certainly wasn't a friendly with the way that the Brazilians targeted Bellingham the other day with the persistent fouling.
I think they had a game plan, didn't they? I think it worked. But England are going to come up against that, and when you come up against better teams, you have to find a way.
Well, as England line up, Foden has gone to the left-hand side, and Ivan Toney looking to try and make an impact with his first start. Ezri Konsa gets his first start after doing well as a substitute, as our Austrian referee Sebastian Gishammer gets us underway. England in their change strip, the all-purple, playing from left to right as we look, live on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. And England certainly will look to try and create more opportunities than they did against Brazil, as Bowen runs forward with real purpose and gets an early ball in, and Ivan Toney tried to meet it on it struck his hand anyway, but that really was much more purposeful from England in the opening 30 seconds, with real intent from Bowen down the right.
Well, you were just saying there, Ian, wasn't you, about the lack of penetration they had against Brazil, the lack of chances that they created, and they've obviously left the dressing room with a message from Gareth Southgate tonight that that's not to be the case. Jarrod Bowen does excellently down this right hand side, as you say. Phil Foden started out on the left, Bowen down this right hand side, gets in behind Tayati, the left back. He puts in a really good cross, and Ivan Toney gets his foot to it, but then he kicks it inadvertently against his own hand.
Just going to keep an eye on Jarrod Bowen. He's actually just given the thumbs up to the bench, because he was hobbling a fraction after delivering that cross from the right. England are poised with the press, but Sells, all in green, will deliberately float the ball forward towards Lukaku, and then the return ball now towards Lukaku, who's running man over on that far side. The ball is chipped then by Trossard, and then Konsa got the shout by Pickford, and he actually ducked underneath the ball and allowed it to run out of play for a goal kick. But in the opening 90 seconds we've had an attack at either end.
That's Lukaku at his best, isn't he? Real centre forward play. Direct ball from the goalkeeper into Lukaku, drops it off inside the centre circle to Tielemans, plays Lukaku back in, really strong run forward, lays it out to the right. Cross just isn't what Lukaku wanted, but early signs there from Lukaku that's how he does it, is he occupies centre halves. Looked really strong, laid the ball off, played a great 1-2, followed his run and almost got in.
Gareth Southgate felt that England had the greater control against Brazil at the weekend. He was saying that the chances that the Brazilians created came in the transition, on the counter-attack, and on that occasion that was certainly an early worry for England as Lukaku went through. That's what they've got to try and guard against. They're going to come up against teams who will try and frustrate them and then hit on the counter.
Well, looking from our commentary position midway through the main stand here behind the tunnel, you can see out of possession the Belgians have clearly got a back 4, but they've got 5 in midfield out of possession. Trossard and Doku, the 2 wide players, are dropping in to make 5, trying to overpower England in that midfield area, and Lukaku at the moment out of possession is cut a lonely figure.
We're live here on 5 Sports Extra on 5 Live Sport, BBC Radio 5 Live. Wales against Poland in one of those 3 playoffs for the Euros, and one of them in fact is already finished in Tbilisi, where Georgia have beaten Greece offside against Bowen on a penalty shootout, 0-0 after extra time, and Georgia winning 4-2 on that shootout, so they will go into Group F with Turkey, Portugal and the Czech Republic. Belgium, actually, with the winners of Ukraine-Iceland, will find out their opponents in Group E. They've already got Slovakia and Romania, and then they're awaiting for the winner of that playoff path from B, and that will be in Wrocław in Poland, as Sells had to release that ball very, very quickly. England have set their stall out quite early, haven't they, to press high up the pitch. You
can see there they did, and it was Jude Bellingham who backed Ivan Toney up. Jan Vertonghen gave his goalkeeper a really difficult back pass, and Toney's onto him very, very quickly. Out of possession, you can see what Gareth Southgate said. He wants a more high-intensity game, pressing higher up the field.
England's under-21s are 2-0 up at half-time against Luxembourg in this friendly international. It was Bowen just pulled the shirt of Doku as he tried to run away from him. He then went to ground, and the Austrian referee gives a free kick that Tayat tries to hit too quickly, and he was a little bit further forward than the Austrian wanted, and it was Bellingham, actually, the player who was going to try and close him down. And Tayat, the left back, with that mop of hair, is the one who plays it back to Jan Vertonghen, still going at 36 years of age. He made his debut in 2007 and the most capped international for Belgium. This is his 154th appearance for his country. Playing now for Anderlecht, 29 appearances this season, and in fact alongside De Bast, it is the Anderlecht central defensive partnership that Tedesco has opted for tonight.
With a very much difference in age, that the age gap's quite incredible, isn't it, between the two of them?
16 years. Of course, when Spurs played here when the new stadium was being built away from White Hart Lane, as a mistake from Stones, presents the ball to Lukaku, tries to play it forward to Tielemans, and he just couldn't take it, and then it was Konsa who managed to get it back, and then they've given the ball away of England, and now it's with Trossard, who's able to turn. Castagna on the overlap, not required. Foden then gets it back. Chilwell is forced back, plays it then to Pickford inside his penalty area, gets it out beneath his feet quickly. Short triangular passings involving the England goalkeeper there, but Belgium tried to win the ball back inside the England half, and it will eventually run out of play for a throw to Belgium over on that far side. 0-0, 5.5 minutes played, still goalless in Cardiff as Lukaku to Onana, now to Taya on this near side. Doku is ahead of him over the halfway line, up against Bowen and Konsa, and then back to Vertonghen as the Belgian supporters, all in red over on that far corner, make themselves heard. Good, strong, travelling support, as this is Mangala. Onana able to turn, forward ball to Lukaku. Bellingham tries to prevent it from reaching Onana, but he then plays it out towards Castagna. Trossard, first touch just allowed him or England to get the ball away from him. Foden passes the ball back, Rice had to be quick there. Stones, again it was almost a heavy touch to give the ball to Doku, but he got away with it. England still have the ball, 0-0.
Just a little bit clumsy in possession, England at times, back in their own half, with Declan Rice currently on the ball. It's looking very much like he's going to be a lone sitter tonight. The likes of Mainu, Bellingham, Foden and Bowen, they're given more a role higher up the field, and it's quite obvious with England in possession. It's Rice is the one who's the deepest out of all of the midfield players.
Netherlands are leading Germany in one of the friendlies elsewhere, as Rice, the England captain, sprays the ball out towards Bowen. Took it well, high off the chest, right hand side, tried to come in between Taya and Doku. Bowen has actually had a very lively opening 7 minutes, gets a corner kick, 0-0.
I was going to say, I know we've only had 7 minutes, but Jared Bowen's made a really lively start, hasn't he? The two opportunities that England have had that have got towards the edge of the box of Belgium, it's been Bowen that's been at the heart of both.
7th appearance for his country, it's his 4th start, as Phil Foden comes across to this near side to take the corner kick. The England right, it's left-footed, in it goes towards the near post. Bellingham tried to flick it on near side of the 6-yard area, comes back out to this right-hand side. Foden keeps the ball in play. The two number 7s, the two Manchester City players, go shoulder to shoulder. Foden against Doku, back with Foden once again, hits the ball forward, long searching diagonal ball, headed back by Rice, and then it actually came, I think, probably quite high up on the right leg of Lewis Dunk, and it ballooned away from him, and out it goes for a goal kick. And there's activity on the England bench.
It looks like Joe Gomez is getting stripped. It's a very early substitution, clearly an injury to one of the back four. I think it's John Stones there who just went to try and take the knee, isn't it?
Well, we're going to see now. It would...
Now this isn't a sight Manchester City fans or Pep Guardiola want to see after Kyle Walker the other day.
No, and he's had such a frustrating time of it, hasn't he? With it, I mean, he's only started 11 games in the Premier League. I mean, Kyle Walker was going to be assessed after that hamstring injury that he picked up against Brazil. And I was only speaking to John Stones the other day, and he was just saying how frustrating it has been for him of late. But he's sat down on the sodden turf and he's getting tended to by two of the physios.
Do you know what it is? I've just seen the replay, and the worrying thing for John Stones of Manchester City, there was nobody about, there was nobody around him. He did it on the turn. I mean, it was said how the weather here, it's been pouring down, the pitch is going to be soaking. The ball just got played in behind. I think it was Doku who made a run off his shoulder. It's almost like his knee twisted in the ground, and there was nobody around, there was no collision.
Well, John Stones who before the Brazil game only one appearance in his last 6 for England this season, and quite rightly England are not taking any chances, and John Stones on his 71st appearance for his country after playing the full 90 on Saturday, and he's going straight down the tunnel as well. And with the crucial game at the top of the table coming up at the weekend against Arsenal, as you said, Paul, you know, Kyle Walker and John Stones have both picked up injuries whilst they've been away with England.
Well, you do wonder what Pep's doing tonight, don't you? Other than listening to me and you wonder what he's actually doing, whether he's watching this, because there was an incident earlier when Doku and Phil Foden was coming together, and you think he just must turn away every time his players go near one another.
So Teat with a cross from the left-hand side, picked up by Doku. Doku just shuffled it out onto his right foot. Lukaku to Trossard. Chilwell did well to cover, almost ran into trouble as he tried to run the ball away inside his own penalty area, and then eventually back with Pickford, who pushes the ball out of the penalty area. That wasn't the best of clearances, goes straight to Onana. Pickford's desperate to get back, and Tielemans, left-footed, rolls the ball into the bottom right-hand corner, with Pickford racing to get back into goal. Tielemans just placed it to the other side of the desperately unlucky goalkeeper Jordan Pickford, and that was a very, very sloppy goal to concede in every respect. And Yuri Tielemans is the first Belgian to score for club and country at Wembley Stadium, and he gives Belgium the lead.
Well, we're seeing Jordan Pickford now pitches him with his hand in the air, apologising to his defender. Knelt over on his haunches. I mean, it's an awful clearance from him in the first place. He gets it in the bottom left-hand corner of his 18-yard box. He's got nobody around him. He tries to play a straight ball into midfield. He gets cut out by Onana, and it falls to the feet of Tielemans. Jordan Pickford, in his haste, we see him get too caught up in games at times. We've seen him get too excited, if you like. He knows he's made a mistake. Just get back into position. He doesn't. He overcompensates. He goes too far. He runs all the way to the other side of his goal, and Tielemans has got a simple task to roll it into 3/4 of an empty goal. The goalkeeper's made 2 mistakes there.
By the time that Tielemans has actually struck it left-footed, Pickford at that stage is just dashed past the near post, and because he's running at pace, Tielemans just puts it the other side of him.
Well, his initial mistake is the clearance.
Yeah.
It's a really bad clearance. He's that far out of his goal, and he's chose to play a straight ball into midfield that gets cut out. From that, get yourself back into position, recover. He tries to get back into position too quickly, overcompensates, and because he's running so fast into his goal, he's unable to stop, and Tielemans, from such a long way out, just rolls it into the bottom left-hand corner.
Well, that really has been an extremely disappointing 2 minutes for Gareth Southgate. He's lost John Stones through injury, and then his goalkeeper Jordan Pickford has essentially gifted Belgium a goal. So Belgium are leading 1-0, and that is a goal that could have been avoided in so many ways.
Seeing so many replays of it now, Jordan Pickford runs past the ball almost because he's trying to get back so quickly. I'm not so sure whether he's tried to anticipate Tielemans going for the far side of the goal, which would have been the bigger side of the goal, because Pickford was caught out at the bottom corner of his left-hand side of his 18-yard box. So he's had to make up a lot of ground, and in doing that, he's not been able to recover his position or get set sufficiently to save any shot coming in.
That's the voice of Paul Robinson on BBC 5 Sports Extra. We're also on BBC Sounds, where it's England 0, Belgium 1. Sells out to Vertonghen. Teat, the left back, rolls it down the near side towards Doku. Little spin there by Tielemans. Incidentally, Konsa is playing now as the central defender alongside Lewis Dunk. Joe Gomez, replacing John Stones, is playing as the right back. So England having to reshuffle their back line. In fact, Konsa's gone to the left of the two, hasn't he? The two central defenders.
Yeah, maybe that played a part in the goal. I mean, the structure that England defence had in front of Jordan Pickford, he maybe looked up and didn't see a picture that he expected to see, that he would have normally seen, because the players were rotating and changing positions. But still, I mean, it's a difficult one for the goalkeeper. It really is.
I mean, listen, how do you deal? You've been in this situation, haven't you? You know, you've 41 times for England. When you make a mistake, how quickly do you have, as a keeper, do you have to sort of like put that to the back of your mind?
Well, the honest answer, probably about 6 months to a year. But actually, in a professional answer, you have to have what I used to call a golfer's mentality. You have to forget your last shot. There's nothing you can do about it. What's done and gone, you don't then try and affect a game or go try and get involved, because that's when you'll make more mistakes. I always revert back to a few years ago.
Bellingham, forward ball, Toney in. Challenge comes in, penalty. Ivan Toney made the run in behind, but Tongan caught him from behind, and without any hesitation, the referee Sebastian Gishammer has given a penalty to England. And now this will be interesting as to who takes it, bearing in mind there's no Harry Kane. Ivan Toney will have an opportunity surely with his record, although Bellingham was the one to go towards the ball.
That immediately shows you the threat what Ivan Toney's got in this England team, playing on the shoulder of Vertonghen. Bellingham looks up and Toney times his run to perfection, gets inside Vertonghen, inside the box, gets the wrong side. There's nothing that the Belgian defender can do. Tries to put his foot on the ball, but Toney's that quick, he's in front of him. It is a penalty, and you're right, Ivan Toney stood with the ball.
So Ivan Toney, who's had to wait a year, and that there's going to be a slight delay here. Sells has wandered off his goal line, all in green. The goalkeeper in his bright orange referee's jersey tells him to get back onto the line. Toney just wanders away, has the ball tucked underneath his right arm. Of course, there will be a VAR check, but Jude Bellingham is just trying to get Tielemans away. Doku's also trying to have a word with Ivan Toney. He's not interested, he's focused, just keeps wandering around in a little circle as the Belgian players are trying to do their bit to put off Toney. The referee once again tells Sells to get back onto his goal line. So there will be the VAR check as a matter of course, but the referee points to the spot and it is the penalty. So Ivan Toney waits. He has such an impressive record when it comes to spot kicks. But again, he has to delay as the referee is just making sure that the players don't encroach into the penalty area. He's had a lot of time to think. Ivan Toney once again, 2, 3, 4 steps back. So impressive when it comes to spot kicks. Ivan Toney, his first start for England, his first appearance in a year, buries it in a manner that only he knows. A short step up, so precise, right-footed, bottom left-hand corner. That's what he can bring. And if that's his audition, then it's not a bad way to start. From the spot, 1-1.
He's won it and he's scored it, and that's exactly what Ivan Toney gives you. He gives you that pace, he times his runs, he gets in behind defenders, he causes a problem, he wins a penalty. Spoke about it before the game. He has got an incredible ability to take penalties off 3 steps.
I mean, the technique as a keeper, he doesn't give you, because it's a straight run-up, he can put it either side.
And he watches the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper just has to move the tiniest of inches one or the other way, and he reads it, and he's that clever. He either opens his foot up or closes his foot. We've seen him take penalties in some pressure situations. That was a big situation for him. He's been given the start tonight by Gareth Southgate. He gets an opportunity where he's won the penalty in front of a packed Wembley in the last game before Gareth Southgate picks his squad for the Euros. That was a huge pressure moment for Ivan Toney. You can't underestimate that for him. On a personal level, the pressure that will have been on his shoulders was immense.
Gareth Southgate said yesterday, you don't get 10 opportunities to stake a claim. The final game before he names his training squad, and it's believed that there's only one space available for either Toney or Watkins to go as the understudy to Harry Kane. And the fact that he's got him behind, he's won the penalty and he's converted it. Ivan Toney already, you don't need 10 opportunities to stake a claim. He's done it in 17 minutes. Well,
for those listeners who just tuned in, we talked about this before the game, didn't we? And we said about Ollie Watkins' figures, that his stats, his goals, his assists this season, they don't compare with Ivan Toney. You know, that he's way ahead of him. But you forget that Ivan Toney's missed half a season. My personal opinion is Ivan Toney just gives you that bit more. Exactly what we've just seen. The runs in behind, the threat, the danger, and the ability, an Englishman that can take penalties.
So Ivan Toney with the equaliser, and it's England 1, Belgium 1. BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra here at Wembley. Concert showing his versatility. Started at right back. His first start now is alongside Dunk. Collects the ball, and when he comes to that squad of 23, you know, the fact that he can play right back, also as a centre back, is something for Ezri Konsa that will stand him in good stead. The versatility, likewise, of Joe Gomez, as it's Germany 1, Netherlands 1 in that friendly elsewhere. As the ball up towards Tony, on the stretch, couldn't get there. Tielemans then now tries to release Doku. Flag stays down. Doku scampers away, left-hand side, enters the penalty area. Doku beaten out by Pickford. And maybe Pickford has redeemed himself from his earlier error, because that was a right-footed shot. It was hit low, and Pickford was down extremely smartly to his left-hand side. And now England can attack. And running forward, here is Bowen. Plays it out towards Bellingham. Bellingham's shot strikes the legs of Teya. It was Mainu who was the player who was breaking through from the midfield, and the game all of a sudden opened up. It's been a very good game, actually.
Well, it just showed the pace that England have got in that midfield, that they've got on the counter-attack, and it all came from, you're right, that fantastic save what Jordan Pickford made. Doku comes down this left-hand side, cuts into the box on his right foot, hits it low and hard across Jordan Pickford, and he puts a really good hand on it, and he pushes it into a good area. He pushes it out of the 18-yard box. He doesn't push it into danger. He doesn't push it straight. He gets a really strong hand, pushes it out of danger, and England are able to counter-attack off the back of his save.
Here is Bellingham. It's been a nice interchange, actually. If you look at that midfield three of Rice, Bellingham and Mainu, not one of them's actually sitting, as Bowen now drifts into a central area. Then the ball is headed out by Castagna, picked up by Rice. Rice was telling John Murray yesterday he wants to play as the 6. That's his preferred position. But, you know, Kobbie Mainu is... I mean, it's been such a meteoric rise, hasn't it, for him? And every time you see him, the young man just impresses.
Well, he doesn't look out of place at all, does he? He doesn't look out of place, and as you say, the midfield tonight, they've looked very, very good. The interchanging of positioning, the quality of the passes that they've had. And what's really impressed me is the understanding between the players, because like we know, this is not necessarily the manager's first choice squad if he had his full squad available to him.
No, maybe 5 of this 11 would be his first pick. As Mainu tried to come forward, challenge came in on Mainu. Rice tried to win the ball back. Belgium thought there'd been a foul there from Rice. England have got a bit of control in this game at the moment. We're approaching the midway point of the first half on 5 Sports Extra. England 1, Belgium 1, coming from behind as Castagna prevented that ball from reaching Foden on the left, and then Pickford comes out of his penalty area, all in yellow, as the rain continues to pour down at Wembley. Konsa. Rice is available. Dunk certainly maybe has a point to prove. It was his error that led to the goal for Brazil on Saturday night. Didn't look as assured for the Brighton Brighton defender, making his most capped England international for Brighton. As here he is once again. Lukaku just lurking, and then back to Konsa. Just keeping the ball midway through the England half, back out to Dunk again. Chilwell over the halfway line. 2019 was the last time he had back-to-back starts for England, as that was just a lapse in concentration by Bellingham to give the ball away. And Tielemans plays it early towards Lukaku, and Pickford again, good anticipation, was quick to clear on the edge of his area.
Does well, Jordan Pickford, and since his error for the goal, Belgium's goal earlier on in the game, was midway through telling you a story about goalkeeper's mentality when Ivan Toney won the penalty, and he's done that extremely well. You have to have a golfer's mentality. It has to be gone. There's nothing you can do about that mistake. You concentrate on the rest of your game, and he's certainly done that so far, Jordan Pickford.
France 0, Chile 1 is another latest score in the one of the friendlies. 1-1 here at Wembley. Belgium in their deep sky blue shirts have a throw far side the right. Trossard curls it to Teya along the ground. Forward ball to Tielemans, gives it back to the left back, who plays his football in Rennes in France. He can either play as a centre back or indeed as a left back. England's under 21s leading Luxembourg by 3-0. Onana to Vertonghen, and Vertonghen, because of Tony's presence, has to go back to his goalkeeper Matt Sells. They've gone 5 3/4 hours without conceding before that Tony penalty, incidentally. It was Victor Gyökeres who scored for Sweden back in October. So in just over 6 hours of football, Belgium have conceded their first international goal here tonight. On a good run, unbeaten in 12 in all competitions. Domenico Tedesco, the Italian-German manager, only 38 years of age, is yet to lose. He's won 8 of his 11 games since he took charge as England with Conser. Right of the centre circle to Mainu. Mainu plays the ball out to Dunk. Chilwell's pushed up on that left-hand side. Joe Gomez a little bit reluctant likewise because maybe of Doku.
Yeah, they've looked good of England since they've got back into this game. They really have. You spoke about the midfield, the interchanging of the play, but they've looked comfortable in possession. At the moment, there seems to be a little bit of a lull in the game. They run the risk of being a little bit complacent without having that forward threat that they've previously had. But with the pace that they've got in the team, with Bowen, with Bellingham, Foden, that threat's always there, and Belgium are aware of that.
Certainly when you look at it, there is a lot of movement off the ball. Tony, that was a nice little dummy. Through to Bowen. He's got Bellingham going ahead of him. Bellingham will get there just about with the cutback, and it was almost an own goal as it was sliced onto the roof of the net from an outstretched right boot from De Bast, and that could have literally gone anywhere, but it's behind for a corner kick. But again, Tony, really good play, very, very clever dummy.
Really good interchange. Tony gets himself involved in the middle of the pitch, dummies it, Jarrod Bowen picks it up, Bellingham again down this right hand side, puts a really dangerous cross in, and that's how quickly England can turn defence into attack.
Corner kick, Foden to take it, goes very, very deep, Dunk with a header, and then headed in. By Jarrod Bowen, close range header, his first goal for England. What a moment for the West Ham United player. He's enjoying his career best season with 18 goals that he scored for his club. He was alert and he pounced in close range, and England have come from behind and lead by 2-1. There will be a check.
I think he might be offside there, Ian. I think we might be going back. We've just had the privilege of a replay. It's a really, really well worked corner by England. We talk about the importance of set players nowadays, but I do think Bowen might just be deprived of his goal. It's a fantastic in-swinging corner from Phil Foden. Goes all the way to the back post. Dunk gets a free header, heads it back across the goal into the 6-yard box, and Bowen's doing that little marking job on the goalkeeper. Just pulls away from the goalkeeper, glances it into the far post, but at first look, when Dunk heads that ball back across goal, Bowen does look like he's offside. Yeah,
I think this is likely to be chalked offside. He's just waiting, is Sebastian Gishammer, for Manuel Schuttengruber, his Austrian compatriot, to have a look with the VAR check, but I'm sure that this will be told that it will not stand. And indeed, that is the case. And so it remains England 1, Belgium 1. Correct decision.
Correct decision. It's surprising, though, that both teams were unaware. I mean, both teams had set up to restart the game with a kick-off to Belgium, so we've had to go all the way back deep into the 6-yard box of Sells' goal. But it was a really well-worked set play, and it was just Jarrod Bowen's right shoulder that just strayed offside. Unfortunate.
Belgium couldn't score against Ireland at the weekend, but Switzerland have. And Shaqiri has got the goal in Dublin. Republic of Ireland 0, Switzerland 1 is a latest score. Still no goals in Cardiff, still no goals in Wrocław, but Georgia have booked their place at the Euros, beating Greece in a shootout. We're approaching the half hour here at Wembley, 1-1, but already Chilwell coming forward now. England, has been a really positive display. Chilwell is fouled. No, goal kicks as the referee. But there's been many positive displays. There's a fluency about England. There's a good tempo.
They just look a different side to the one that played Brazil at the weekend. There's an urgency, there's an aggression, there's an energy, there's a high press. And I just think with Ivan Toney leading the line, he gives you that threat in behind the defence. And what he does, what he's doing now, is at the edge of the box, he's waiting for Belgium to take the goal kick, and he starts the high press. When he presses, and in behind him you've got Bowen, Bellingham, Foden, all reacting to Tony. Tony's going in now to close the goalkeeper, and England shut down. The only ball the goalkeeper's got is the long one into Lukaku.
England's under-21s have got a fourth against Luxembourg. 1-1 here on Sports Extra at Wembley in this friendly, as Concert leaves it for Mainu. Always looks so calm and composed on the ball, but he's you think that 23 appearances for Manchester United, and here he is for his first start for England, and a real contender as he wins the ball there in the midfield to go to the Euros. Gets a pat on the back there from Phil Foden. I mean, he belies his tender age.
And his aggression in the tackle as well. You know, there's no inferiority complex about him tonight. He looks like he belongs on that pitch, and the way that he's playing alongside Declan Rice and Bellingham in that midfield. I know we're still early on, we're midway through the first half, and he came on after 75 minutes the other day. It's very, very much in the infancy of his England career, but there isn't enough compliments you can pay him for the way that he started.
Tony chests the ball back under pressure to Chilwell, now out towards Bowen. Chilwell's continued his run. Gomez is going ahead of Bowen. Bowen's cross blocked. Chilwell though will get that ball in the inside right channel of the penalty area, keeps it alive back with England to Gomez, right corner of the area. Bowen looked like he was going to be offside. Ball played back towards Bowen. Flag stays down on this near side, the right. Gomez, cross charged down by Trossard, comes back towards Gomez. Trossard then plays it towards Teat, but England still pressing, win the ball back well. Bowen doing very, very well. He's been a real live wire on the right hand side. There is a vibrancy about this England tonight.
Good pressing, really, really good pressing. We spoke about friendlies before the game, and this certainly hasn't been that. There's an England team that have gone out there tonight with purpose. They've got a game plan. Nobody's shying away from the ball. You just said it there, Ian. I mean, everybody, the movement that they've got off the ball, when they're in possession, sometimes it's slow, it's methodical, it's rotated around the back four and the holding midfielder. That's not the case tonight. Everybody's looking for the ball.
Ukraine 0, Iceland 1 is a latest score in Wroclaw. So Iceland, who will be England's second opponents as the warm-up game, actually here at Wembley on the 7th of June, are ahead in Poland for that game against Ukraine, and they would be Belgium's opponents in Group E if it was to stay like that. 1-1, but England have played well. 14 minutes to go to half-time. Still goalless, incidentally, in Cardiff. Rice gets it back to Concert.
I think there's one thing you can say about this England performance, other than being the master of their own downfall with Jordan Pickford's mistake. Belgium haven't really threatened in the final third.
No.
Since England have got themselves back into this game, they've controlled this game. They've controlled the possession.
That was a lovely first touch by Tony to Foden. Invites Bowen to come forward. Bowen onto his left foot. Bowen with a shot, always on the rise. England looked so much more of a threat than they did against Brazil.
It's the midfield, what you spoke about midfield. It's Declan Rice that's sitting, but with Mainu, with Bowen, with Bellingham, with Foden, with the interchange, with the understanding that they already seem to have with Tony, and it's the urgency. You can see them now. Belgium have got a goal kick and they're still playing out from the back, but the circle that England are putting around this.
Oh, from the press, England get the opportunity and Bellingham skied it. That all came from the press. It was Kobbie Mainoo who got the early challenge in, I think on Mangala, and it came to Bellingham inside the penalty area, and Bellingham right-footed has blazed the ball over the bar. But England are set, they're ready to press Belgium and making life very, very uncomfortable for the away side. But Kobbie Mainoo once again, in fact it was on Onana. Terrific play from England once more.
Can't emphasise how good they've been in the press. We're looking now, Belgium is set up for another goal kick. The goalkeeper's now taken the decision that he's going long. He's just sent his two centre-halves out of the box and he's kicked it long up the field, and that's because England are pressing so high. They've got Tony on the edge and they're actually ring-fencing that 18-yard box and almost making it impossible like then. Jude Bellingham had a really good opportunity with the side of his right foot. He should have probably done better, or at least hit the target.
It's funny, when we looked at the team, and we said it in commentary, but we both said it to each other before we came on air, that of this starting 11, you'd think 5 are definite starters for that opening game in Gelsenkirchen in 82 days' time against Serbia on the 16th of June. And yet, the players here are giving Belgium some awkward moments.
Well, I think they're giving Gareth Southgate some awkward moments as well, in all honesty, but awkward moments that he'll be really enjoying. because quite often do we see the players that are not picked, the players that are not given an opportunity that often, come into the side, underperform, get given 1 or 2 opportunities and then don't get their chances again. But tonight we're seeing a number of players who have stepped up. I mean, the whole midfield, Mainoo, Rice, Bowen, Bellingham, Foden, to a man, have been excellent. And Ivan Toney up front, he's been brilliant so far.
Foden brought that out of the air very, very well. Leaves it to Bellingham, touches the ball out towards Chilwell. Chilwell delivers the cross. That's headed out by De Bast. Only as far as Mainoo on that far side. Short ball inside to Rice, midway through the Belgium half. Every outfield player now is in the Belgium half. Little ball round the side then from Foden, comes back to him. Bellingham now takes over, drives forward, tries to play the ball in towards Bowen. Links up with Toney, the return ball almost back with Bowen. Toney couldn't get there, Belgium on the stretch get it away. Trossard to Tielemans, hits that ball out towards Lukaku. Dunker's got to get back and make sure he gets there. He doesn't, tried to stab it away. Lukaku enters the penalty area, now crosses the ball, flying header by Tielemans, and on the counter-attack, Belgium are back in front. Lukaku did ever so well, and Tielemans with his second goal of the night. Far post header, diving forwards. England done on the counter. England 1, Belgium 2.
Well, that shows England's susceptibility and how porous this defence can be at times. It's one long ball over the top to Lukaku. It looks like Lewis Dunk's in control. Lukaku's on his right shoulder. Lewis Dunk, he takes the option to slide on this wet Wembley surface. It's Tielemans with his left foot. Long looping, ranging ball over the back of Dunk. He gets there first. He gets there ahead of Lukaku. He opts to slide. He gets it all wrong. Lukaku gets the ball off him, puts in a fantastic cross with the outside of his left foot. Gets the easiest of opportunities at the far post, and that's a real sucker punch for England. You know, we're saying we're waxing lyrical about how well England are playing, but that just shows the susceptibility that they've got on a counter-attack against a good team. 2 passes from well inside the Belgian half. Tielemans has got a goal. It's his initial ball to Lukaku. Lukaku gets the better of Dunk. Lukaku then crosses it into the box, and it's Tielemans who played the original ball who gets the goal.
Tielemans then with 2 goals. Classic counter-attack from Belgium. But Lewis Dunk, it was his mistake that led to the Brazil goal on Saturday. Should he have done better, do you think?
It was, Dan. It was a mistake again. I mean, that the ball over his head, over his right shoulder, he put himself in a really good position. He got himself between his own goal and Lukaku, and then he didn't deal with the ball. He chose to go to ground, and he didn't get it right. He chose to try and hook it out on the slide tackle. He got it all wrong. Lukaku got the better of him, and it's a situation that he should have dealt with better.
Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1. Conor Bradley has got that goal for Northern Ireland. Chilwell forward, Toney in the penalty area, plays the ball out to Rice, outside the box, left-hand side, plays it back. And France have equalised at home to Chile, that's 1-1, and England's under-21s lead Luxembourg by 5 goals to 0. England 1, Belgium 2, 8 minutes to go to half-time. Bellingham turns left corner of the area. Bellingham still going. Bellingham can't get the shot away. Mangala prevented him so, but Bellingham will run into the penalty area, taken off his toes by his own player Rice, very congested on that far side. Belgium had 9 players back in their sky blue shirts inside their own penalty area. Then the cross comes in, and Trossard plays it towards Tielemans, collects it just outside the D, and then dinks the ball up in the air, out towards Castagna on that far side. The rain teeming down as Belgium lead by 2 goals to 1. Their travelling support making a little bit of noise over on that far side. Looking at the Olays now, as Belgium all of a sudden have a sustained spell of passing, as Gomez then prevents it from reaching Trossard, and it goes out of play for a goal.
It was just an incident there. The England press just wasn't as good as it has been, is it? That goal's obviously taken the wind out of the sails a little bit. You heard the Olays from the Belgian supporters. They haven't been able to do that during the game because they haven't been allowed the time and space.
And yet, on the balance of play, that goal for Belgium, you know, you couldn't see it was coming. England were in a really, really good passage of play at that stage.
Well, you look at the possession stats, you look at the control that England have had in this game, the possession stats, the entries into the final third, the way that the England team have been playing, and I'm sure from listening to us you can get the feeling that they are dominating a game, and they've just really been sucker punched on the counter-attack. I'm looking at the stats now. England have had 74% possession, Belgium 26%. That shows you that's That's not just stats, that is a true reflection of what I've been watching tonight. But England have been hit on the counter-attack.
That's the voice of Paul Robinson on 5 Sports Extra here at Wembley. His first 16 home caps were away from this stadium, obviously when Wembley was being rebuilt, and then on your 17th home appearance you made your debut at the National Stadium against Brazil, no less.
Sometimes worry how much you know about me, don't I?
I sometimes worry about how much you know about me.
That's a fair comparison.
Mainu to Bowen, near side the right, back to Gomez just over the halfway line. Bellingham inside to Rice, the England captain. Mainu able to turn forward midway through the Belgium half, gets it back off the knees of Trossard. Gomez, Belgium once again have dropped back. Rice coming forward, England in their sodden shirts with Rice, finds Bowen infield to Bellingham, the return ball. Bowen with his pace might get there. Tielemans is the one who's going to try and prevent him from getting to the cross, and he did just enough. Tielemans has been very, very good tonight for Belgium.
He has. He's looked excellent, and he's been the one that's broken out of that midfield to support Romelu Lukaku. And no finer example of it was the second goal for Belgium. So we're seeing it again on replays. It was a fantastic ball over the top. It's one that Lewis Dunk really should have dealt with. Lukaku didn't have to do a lot to get the better of him, and he just waited on the right-hand edge of the box, waited for Tielemans to make his run into the box, curled a great ball with the outside of his left foot, and he found his fellow countryman, and they got the goal.
Roman Yaramchuk has equalised for Ukraine. Ukraine won, Iceland won in that Euro playoff taking place in Poland. Meanwhile, Wales, Poland still goalless in Cardiff. That will be a free kick. There was a foul from Onana, and England about 6 yards outside the penalty area, right hand side, with 4 minutes to go to half time. They've got a free kick as they trail 2-1. All in purple, playing from left to right. Rice is going to take it, bounces the ball 2, 3, 4 times, then places it down. Just going to be 2 in the wall, I think, here for Belgium. Players gathering just inside the penalty area. Could be an inviting ball in this from Declan Rice. In fact, it's just going to be 1 in the wall. Tielemans has walked away to leave Doku. Sells should have a good view of this as it comes in. Lukaku's back there helping out. Foden lurks on the far side. Rice waits, left arm goes aloft, right-footed cross comes in, and it was too close to the goalkeeper, and it was easily claimed by Matt Sells.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Deno, you've never played in goal, have you? If that's easily claimed on a night like this, I wouldn't have been trying to catch that. There'd have been 2 fists on that, trying to get rid of it as far as I could. That was a really good take, especially on a night like this from the Belgian goalkeeper.
Goalkeepers Union is alive and well.
No, I told you a long time ago, my card was revoked in lieu of honesty for my job that I do now.
Under 3 minutes to go to half time. This is Gomez, a substitute to Bowen. Gets away from Tayat, now runs at pace. Lukaku will try and get the challenge in, and made a very well-timed challenge at that, the Belgian captain. Onana, Tayat, but Bowen has caught the eye on the right-hand side for England. A mistake from Pickford, a mistake from Dunk, caught on the counter-attack. Eliminate those errors, and England would be in a very good position. Gomez, forward ball. Bellingham couldn't get there. And in fact, there's player has stayed down, Onana, on this near side, and there's a stoppage in play. France have come from behind. They lead Chile by 2-1 now, and we're going to have a stoppage here with 2 minutes to go to half-time.
I think what you just said there, you can almost predict the manager's press conference. If we were coming towards the end of the game, you've just predicted what Gareth Southgate would say. Individual errors have cost us. We dominated the game, we played very well, we dominated possession. Really pleased with the midfield, really pleased with this player, with that player. Delighted the way that we kept possession, created chances, looked hungry, but individual errors have cost us tonight.
You would think as well, bearing in mind that Phil Foden and Declan Rice played the full 90 minutes on Saturday, that the best that they're going to play is another extra 15 minutes into the second half, even if at all they do reappear at the break. Of course, that top of the table clash, 4:30, 5 Live Premier League Sunday this weekend. Liverpool-Brighton at 2. We'll have commentary of that, and then followed by that enticing game at the Etihad, Manchester City at Arsenal, from 4:30. Peter Schmeichel is alongside John Murray for that one. Onana's back on his feet, so England will probably have to make changes.
You would think so, and you do wonder if at all what pressure does Gareth Southgate get from club managers, maybe not directly, but from players that would come away to an international get-together with the manager's voice ringing in their ear, make sure you don't play 2 full games, or make sure you come off at certain times, if indeed the managers want players. But like you say, it's possibly more than likely the biggest game of the season this weekend, isn't it, for those 2 clubs?
Certainly is. Could be a pivotal weekend, as in stoppage time very, very soon we'll find out how much additional time there will be, as Belgium, with Théat back to his goalkeeper Sells, gets it out onto his right boot, all in green, cross towards that far side. Ball played up by Vertonghen to Trossard, running back, and then eventually Belgium will get a throw over on that far side. 6 goals now that England's under-21s have rattled past Luxembourg, as we are in stoppage time, and there will be 3 minutes of stoppage time at Wembley. England 1, Belgium 2. The scoreline won't please the England manager, who incidentally, it's his 150th game with England tonight. 57 as a player, but his 93rd game as a manager. And whilst the scoreline will disappoint him, I think there'll be elements of the performances that will certainly encourage him a great deal.
You take those 2 individual moments out, the 2 Belgium goals. England, we've gone over the possession stats, they've dominated this game. There's been some great individual performances, there's been a very, very good collective performance in my opinion. There's just 2 individual errors that have cost them, which obviously is something that they need to cut out going forward, because when you do play better sides like Belgium, who are ranked number 4 in the world, they have got players that can hurt you, and they're ranked that for a reason.
Mainu finds space on this near side, the right. Bellingham, who cramped up against Brazil. Bellingham, forward ball to Bowen. Bowen of West Ham United out towards Mainu. Infield to Bellingham once again. Tony drops deep. Bellingham runs infield, and back heels the ball for Rice to take over. Gomez on this near side. Gomez with the cross. Bowen with his back to goal. Tries to play the ball inside. Bellingham looks for the shooting opportunity and does get the right-footed shot away, but Sells makes the save, diving away towards his right-hand side.
Again, it's Jared Bowen causing problems in the middle of that box. Does really well, holds his defender off with his back to goal. He's able to shift the ball over to Jude Bellingham. Doesn't quite get hold of it all. Matt Sells ends up making a really comfortable save down to his right-hand side. But again, it's Bowen involved.
You think that they've had a goal disallowed. Bellingham has had 2 opportunities. He's blazed one over after the good press from Mainu, then had that shot saved. But England trailing by 2-1, as Bowen once again picks up the ball in a central area. Bowen shoots, and Sells makes the save, and he saw that coming from a long way out, diving away to his left.
He didn't quite catch that, Jared Bowen, did he? He had the option of Ivan Toney running on ahead of him, didn't take it, elected the shot from 25-30 yards out, didn't quite get enough purchase on it to trouble the goalkeeper.
He's had a good half though, hasn't he, the West Ham player?
There's a lot that have, but Bowen certainly has excelled down his right-hand side. I know it's, we keep going on, but England have genuinely played well tonight, and it's been a good watch.
That was a nice little layoff first time by Bowen. He got clattered from behind as a result. Taken forward then by Mainu on this near side, and wins the throw, but it actually goes against him. Bowen's okay, he's back on his feet, and in fact there is the half-time whistle. So half-time here on Sports Extra. And it's half-time, Wales 0, Poland 0. And we can actually join Kelly and the team on BBC Radio 5 Live now for their thoughts on the first half, and then we'll be back for the second half here at Wembley with Paul Robinson and myself.
It's causing them a lot of problems. Frankowski, he's playing right side wing back. He wants to go forward, he doesn't want to go back the other way as much as that, so there's a lot of problems for Bednarek on that right hand side. Both Nico Williams and Brennan Johnson have got the beating of Jan Bednarek as they're running at him, and like I said before, you get crosses into the box, it will help. But just in general play, I feel like Wales need to have more willing runners in behind. A lot of that first half was Wales coming towards the ball. Poland were playing a very high line. There was space to run into. We needed to get him turned a little bit more, and there were some positive sides just at the end of the half.
Jane, you mentioned it in commentary about the quality of the ball into Kiefer Moore, just getting that little bit of sharpness maybe in the passing. And there have been some amazing kind of long crossfield passes in this game, but just that short game at the end seems to be short.
Yeah, I think, we've selected Kiefer Moore, so there's a game plan there. We're going to look to him early on a turnover, but right now the detail up to him isn't great. But as the game's gone on, you've just mentioned it, Dave, it's a really high line from Poland, so it's more a case of exploit the space behind it. Now, is that the right environment for Kiefer Moore? Maybe not. We could see some changes.
We might well see some changes in the second half, and would that help them to get in behind that? Would someone like David Brooks be a better choice in order to try and do that?
Potentially, but it's not just Brooks, David, James. Oh my gosh, it's actually mad these days that as a Welsh national team fan you can go, we've got choice on the bench, and we have pace on the bench as well. So it could be a couple of the guys could have an opportunity, to be fair.
Do you think there's an opportunity here to switch things up at half time, Dave?
Definitely, it's definitely an option. Whether Rob Page decides to wait another 5 or 10 minutes just to see how the second half starts, but I wrote down on my notepad about halfway through that first half in big capital letters, Dan James. It is made for him with that high line. Dan James, even keeping Kiefer Moore on the pitch, but him running off him, I think will cause this Polish defence all sorts of problems, because they're not the quickest at the back. And I think Dan James, with the form he's in at club level, with the goal he got the other night, he'll be full of confidence. He'll be raring to go, be disappointed he's not going to play, and he'll want to prove a point. But I think there's options, because at the moment Harry Wilson's been excellent in a Wales shirt the last 12 months or so, especially since Gareth Bale has moved on and retired. He's been excellent, but he's coming towards the ball. Brennan Johnson, who is the pacey one of that front three, he's coming towards the ball, and Kiefer Moore's not really going to stretch him behind. He did need to get onto the end of one at the end, but if that was Dan James, he'd have got there before the goalkeeper. But there's so much space to exploit behind that Polish backline that it seems crazy that Dan James isn't on the pitch.
Former Wales internationals Dave Edwards and Jane Ludlow are here at the Cardiff City Stadium alongside Alistair Bruce. Ball will be back with the team for the second half with the score at Wales 0, Poland 0. The half-time whistle has gone at Wembley. John Murray.
England 1, Belgium 2, and it's been an eventful first half in the Wembley rain after England lost John Stones to an early injury. He jarred his knee or his ankle. He was able to walk off the field, but England was still reorganising. Gomez came on at right back and Konsa moved into central defence. Then there was a poor clearance from Pickford, the goalkeeper, that led eventually to Tielemans shooting in to make it 1-0 to Belgium. England did promptly equalise through Ivan Toney's penalty after he was brought down by Vertonghen. Toney's first England goal on his full debut sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. Pickford then made a good low save from Doku. England, though, then settled, had a really good spell. Bowen had a goal ruled out by VAR. There was a big chance shot over by Bellingham, and then another poor goal conceded by England. Dunk failed to clear after a ball forward for Lukaku. Lukaku pounced onto it, crossed for Tielemans to dive and head in the 6-yard box. So England 1, Belgium 2, but England have played some really eye-catching football. They've just conceded 2 really bad goals.
John, thank you very much. And John Murray is part of our commentary team who are bringing you live commentary of that match from Wembley between England and Belgium on Sports Extra. It's half-time at Hampden. Ailey Barber.
Yeah, where Scotland are down by a goal to 0. Northern Ireland continuing their impressive recent form thanks to a wonderful strike from Conor Bradley for his first international goal after Nathan Patterson was punished for overplaying in his own penalty box. But huge credit to Bradley. He saw the opportunity and he took it. He was also involved in another really big chance as he played the ball into the path of Shea Charles, whose effort went just wide of the post. Lots of positives for Northern Ireland, but for Scotland it's been a bit of a disaster, really. The boos ringing out as the whistle went after a pretty flat first half. Lots of possession but not much intensity or creativity, and to be honest they've really offered very little. Andy Robertson also forced off with what looked like a nasty ankle injury, so a big second half needed from Steve Clarke's side, because at the break it is Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Ailey, thank you very much. And if you want to watch the second half of that one, it's available on the iPlayer. England's under-21s also in action this evening. That one was a 7 o'clock kickoff. Watching that one for us, Chris Coles.
And they're having a very good evening, Kelly. They've just notched their 7th of the night. England 7, Luxembourg 0, a second for Morgan Rogers. They're very much meeting expectations with this dominant performance. Too much class and quality for Luxembourg. 2 for Madueke, 2 for Illing Jr., 2 for Rogers and Jamie Bino-Gittins. This win will take them to 3 points behind Group F leaders Ukraine. 9 minutes to play. England 7, Luxembourg 0.
Chris, thank you very much. The senior men may finding things tougher against Belgium at Wembley. We heard from John Murray earlier. Paul Robinson is alongside him. Paul, John described 2 poor goals defensively for England to concede. What have you made of their performance overall?
In all honesty, they've been excellent. I've been really, really impressed with them. I mean, we're covering it over on 5 Live Extra, and we've been waxing lyrical about the way that they've played in midfield with Kobe Mainu. Declan Rice is the one that sits out the whole midfield. The interchange, the pace between Bowen, Bellingham and Foden, and the way that Ivan Toney's led the line. They really have been a good watch tonight, England. And we know it's a friendly, and quite often we're guilty of having friendlies, for want of a better phrase. But they've been really good watch tonight. They've played extremely well. And you could almost, if the game was finished now, you could write Gareth Southgate's press conference. He'd say, I'm delighted with the way we pressed, delighted with the way we played, but 2 individual errors have cost us goals. And this sometimes porous defence has let them down again. I mean, Jordan Pickford makes a really poor mistake for the first goal. It's his initial kick that goes straight to Tielemans in midfield. But it's the way that he tries to recover. He tries to get back into his goal too quickly, overzealous, almost overshoots his goal, and Tielemans has got an easy opportunity to roll it into the near corner. And then for the second goal, Lewis Dunk must do better when the ball comes over his shoulder with Lukaku in behind him. But no, a really good first half performance from England, bar 2 silly mistakes that have led to Belgium's goals.
So I was going to ask you, Paul, what England need to do to get back into this game, but it doesn't sound like they need to change things up very much at all.
No, honestly, they've played really well, and for a team that we know has got so many changes in and not necessarily as experienced as we thought they would be. Quite often players who are not generally in Gareth Southgate's starting 11 get given the opportunity and they don't take their opportunity. But actually you go back and you watch this game or watch the first half, the midfield have been really, really impressive. It's been Declan Rice that's sat deep. They've had a lot more licence to go forward. They've concentrated on playing to the strengths rather than defending the weaknesses in the final third. They've been really good. They've set the high press. They've stopped Belgium playing out. And at one time, it was nearly 80% possession for England. And it was those 2 mistakes that makes the scoreline not reflect the game.
You talked about Ivan Toney and how that seems to be working for you. Have England found a way, and this is Gareth Southgate talked about this before the game, about trying to find a way of playing without Harry Kane, should he not be available for whatever reason?
They seemingly have in this first half. He offers something else. He plays on the shoulder of defenders. He stretches defenders. But the most impressive thing from Ivan Toney, what I've seen tonight, is the press, and the press that England have had. When Belgium have had goal kicks, he's lurked on the edge of the box. Him and Jude Bellingham, followed by Foden and Bowen, they've stopped Belgium playing out to the point that we don't see very often. The goalkeeper's reverted to kicking long. You know, the last 6 goal kicks, he's reverted long and gone into Lukaku. And the Ivan Toney's work off the ball has been as impressive as his work on the ball. He's got on the shoulder of Jan Vertonghen. He's won his team a penalty. He's converted the penalty. There's not a lot else he can do.
Paul, thank you very much for now. Paul Robinson at Wembley alongside John Murray. They're part of our commentary team that you can listen to for the second half of England against Belgium on Sports Extra. Our commentary match here, though, is Wales against Poland. It's still goalless as these 2 sides battle it out for a place at Euro 2024 in the summer. Second half of that one coming up, and the very latest from inside the England women's camp after the BBC News with Nick Hatfield.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
President Biden says the US government will pay to rebuild a bridge in the city of Baltimore which collapsed after being struck by a cargo ship. Officials say the ship sent a mayday signal before the collision, which meant the bridge could be shut. 6 people thought to be construction workers are still missing. Wes Moore is the governor of Maryland.
This is very much still a search and rescue mission. We are still actively looking for survivors. We know, and that's the pledge we've made to these families, and this is still very much an active search and rescue mission. And there is not a single resource that we will hold off on deploying. I have already authorized the deployment of everything from air, land, and sea resources to make sure that this search and rescue operation is carried out to its fullest intent.
Rishi Sunak's had to replace two of his most experienced ministers who've resigned from the government. Robert Halfon has been replaced by Luke Hall as Education Minister. Leo Doherty takes over as the Armed Forces Minister from James Heappey. Mr Halfon and Mr Heappey are both standing down as MPs at the next election. The US has been told by the High Court in London that it has 3 weeks to give assurances that Julian Assange won't face the death penalty if he's extradited there. The WikiLeaks founder is facing charges of leaking secret files. The boss of Centrica, which owns British Gas, has seen his pay package rise by almost £4 million. Chris O'Shea earned more than $8 million last year, according to the firm's annual report, including his salary, bonuses, pension and other benefits. In January, Mr O'Shea told the BBC his pay was impossible to justify. And the British Museum has started legal proceedings against a former staff member who allegedly stole and damaged more than 1,800 artefacts. The High Court has ordered the disclosure of eBay and PayPal records of former curator Dr Peter Higgs. The museum's lawyers say there's evidence items were sold online. Dr Higgs is expected to dispute the claims.
BBC 5 Live.
The Checkered Flag Podcast, keeping you up to date with everything Formula One.
It's Carlos Sainz's day down under as the Spaniard wins the Australian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc makes it a Ferrari 1-2 and Lando Norris secures third.
Very happy, very proud of the team. Happy to be in a 1-2 with Charles here.
Max Verstappen may have started on pole, but a rare mechanical failure saw him retiring and out of contention.
The Checkered Flag Podcast.
Listen now on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Kelly Cates.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Second half commentary coming up very shortly from the Cardiff City Stadium for Wales against Poland. It's 0-0 at the moment. The winner will be heading to Germany for Euro 2024 in the summer. Leah Williamson is in the England squad for Euro 2025 qualifiers next month against Sweden and the Republic of Ireland. The Arsenal centre-back hasn't played for England for nearly a year after an ACL injury. Here's manager Sarina Wiegman.
We were planning on bringing her back in February, but then she had a little setback. Recovered really well from that, and now she's playing with club and getting into a rhythm. So I'm very happy she can join the team.
Disappointing all round February, both for you and for her, and a little bit unexpected?
Absolutely unexpected, because she was in a very good place, and then she had this disappointment with this little setback. So most of all for her, of course, because when you have been out for so long and you're so excited to come back in, then of course that's a huge disappointment. But she's in a very good place now. Yeah, so one more game this weekend, and a final, which is exciting too, and then we'll meet up.
Sarina Wiegman was talking there to Chris Coles. Reading owner Dai Yong has signed an agreement with a buyer for the sale of the club. Both parties will now try to agree the final terms, which could take up to 2 months. Reading at 18th and 6 points above the drop zone in League One. The Women's Ashes this winter will include a day-night test match at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. The game will end the multi-format series as England aim to regain the Ashes for the first time since 2014. There's commentary to come from here at the Cardiff City Stadium, where Wales are facing Poland for a place at Euro 2024. The Wales players already out on the pitch, ready to go ahead of the second half, just waiting for Poland to join them. England and Scotland continue their preparations for the tournament tonight. We'll keep you across those matches during the second half. And the teams are out at Wembley, so for listeners on Sports Extra, there's commentary of England against Belgium with Paul Robinson and Ian Dennis.
Please welcome back for the second half, the Three Lions, England!
Welcome back then to Wembley Stadium for 5 Sports Extra for the start of the second half of this Alzheimer's Society international friendly game. And the England players have, in the second half, are wearing no-name shirts for the second period to draw attention to how people living with dementia can lose those precious moments, even the names of their favourite players, as they line up all in purple. No changes have been made by either manager, so Pickford is in goal. Gomez came on for the injured Stones in the first half. He plays now at right back with Konsa partnering Lewis Dunk at the heart of the England defence. Chilwell once again at left back. Rice, Mainu and Bellingham in the midfield. Foden, Toney and Bowen, the front three for England. All in purple, as Belgium, in their sky blue shirts and brown shorts and white socks, playing from left to right in this second period, have Sells in goal. As we're underway, Castagne, Vertonghen, De Bast and Teat across the back four. Tielemans has got both the goals. Mangala, Onana, Trossard, Lukaku and Doku. Belgium lead by 2-1. The rain still falling as Castagne heads it up towards Lukaku. Dunk brushed off the ball by Lukaku, but there was Mainu keeping the ball and then losing it at the last moment to Trossard. Ball played inside by Mangala. Tielemans, the early ball up towards Lukaku. Doku is free on that far side, the left. This is Doku now, enters the penalty area. Look there towards Lukaku. And Declan Rice, right place, right time, with the clearance from inside his own penalty area. Paul Robinson.
Well, Gareth Southgate will have got his team in there at half-time, and I think the main message will be more of the same, please. More intensity, more pressing, the way that they have done. The creativity that they've had in the final third, without really having that cutting edge, and cut out individual mistakes. We've seen a very much changed defence now with Joe Gomez at right back, Konsa, Dunk, Chilwell. But you know, at the risk of going over again, it's individual errors that have cost England.
Here is Tielemans, collects the ball just outside the centre circle, curls it out towards Teat on that far side. Now with Doku, always a lively player with his pace, as it's stroked inside by Tielemans to the figure of Onana, very rangy midfielder, Trossard. His ball actually goes in between Lukaku and Castagne. Lukaku complains to Trossard that he wanted the ball to feet, as Pickford throws it out, and there's a good throw out as well to Foden. The early ball though to Toney went a little bit awry. England try and win it back. Bellingham, referee though, will give a free kick to Belgium 10 yards inside the England half on this near side, the right. Imagine that around the hour mark we'll get a raft of substitutions. England can bring on 5 more players, but only at 2 more opportunities now that they didn't actually use the half-time interval for further additions. As Doku comes into a central area, Mangala, formerly of Nottingham Forest, now out on loan at Lyon, and the cross-come shot from Tielemans was straight at Pickford.
Started well this second half, Belgium. England been on the back foot, sitting a little bit deeper. I think he's probably just asked for a little bit more control in the defensive third, Gareth Southgate. That's one area of the pitch that he will be disappointed with tonight.
Gomez up to Bowen. Bowen once again gets the ball back from Gomez on that right-hand side. Konsa comes across to help out, and then Bellingham will drop back inside his own half to Foden. Very central. Bellingham rolls it forward to Bowen. England win the ball. Foden, Rice gets rid of it quickly. Mainu lays it off. Foden behind him. Mainu has continued his run forward now. He's running at the heart of the Belgian defence. He finds Toney. Toney with a shot and charged down by Vertonghen. But it was good pace about England's attack. They get a corner right-hand side, trailing 2-1.
Great awareness by Kobbie Mainu in that midfield area. Good little interchange with Phil Foden in the middle of the pitch. And what he does is he sees Ivan Toney just pull away on the right hand side off his defender's shoulder. Doesn't look, he just plays it with the outside of his boot, plays Toney in a real good position. Toney's first thought, as always, strike at goal, wins his team a corner. And that corner kick is taken on the right hand side by Foden. Rice leaps in the air, comes out to Chilwell, fires it in, and he's pulled it well wide outside the area off his left foot, hooked it. It's gone out towards the corner flag on that far side, the right.
as Belgium will have a goal kick, still leading by 2-1, 4 minutes into the second half here on 5 Sports Extra BBC Sounds, and we're also available on the BBC Sport website and app. Remember, Wales 0, Poland 0, Ukraine 1, Iceland 1 are the latest scores in the European Championship playoffs. Georgia earlier beat Greece in a penalty shootout. Belgium with Trossard, back to Castagna, Mangala to central defender De Bast, only 20 years of age, the centre-back, 6'2", made his debut against Wales about 18 months ago, just over in fact. The ball is stroked back by Vertonghen to Sells. England once again are poised with the press. Bellingham runs towards the Belgian goalkeeper, to Vertonghen. There's the trigger point for England to go after the Belgian defence. Down the line it goes from Teat, and then to Doku, who tried to wriggle free. Quickly taken free kick by Belgium, and Doku now will carry that ball forward. Strong running by Doku to the edge of the area, and then stopped by Konsa. Loose ball picked up by Lukaku. Lukaku cut out by Chilwell. Only as far as Onana, as Belgium pick it up once again. Tielemans on the turn, just outside the area. Trossard, Castagna on the overlap, not required. Trossard will wait. Plays the ball in towards the feet of Lukaku, and England dispossess it away from Lukaku. Konsa brings it out, and then Foden, and they will try and beat the Belgian press on the edge of their own penalty area, up towards Bellingham. It has been a really good game.
Really good game. Both teams with the intention of winning the game, and both have showed up tonight with tactics, and you can see both managers now on the sideline. The frustration from the Belgian manager when they lose possession, and the England manager tonight as well. He's got a really good performance out of his team in the first half. We've not seen that yet in the second half, and we're only 5 minutes into the second half, but the press hasn't been as high or with as much urgency. They haven't stopped Belgium playing out as much as they did in the first half.
Mangala had made the run through. He let it run past him with the dummy. He was thinking that Lukaku was going to be in on that, but Lukaku was flat-footed, and England have the ball from defence, and that was a foul over on that far side on Jared Bowen from Teat, and that will be a free kick to England just inside their own half, 6 minutes into this second period. Thursday night on 5 Live, by the way, the 30th anniversary of 5 Live, there will be a special programme, 30 defining sporting moments, with Eleanor Oldroyd. Something to look forward to later in the week, as that's a sharp turn by Foden, running at the heart of the Belgian defence, to Tony, who gets the shot away, and he hits the side netting right-footed. In fact, it took a deflection on its way through. It'll be a corner kick.
Well, that's brilliant by Phil Foden. That just shows the quality that he's got and the quality that he's been showing for Manchester City this season. His ball rotation, the way that he turns in midfield, keeps the ball, plays Tony in.
Corner taken quickly. Foden fires it in from the right corner of the area. Stopped by Trossard, out towards Tielemans, who tries to hit the ball out towards Doku on that far side, but there'd been a foul on Mainu inside the centre circle, which the Austrian referee had spotted, and England take that free kick. Trailing by 2-1, Gareth Southgate's side. Belgium, who've never won in England, they've lost 6, and the only time they avoided defeat was a 2-2 draw in 1964. As England coming forward with Bellingham. Bowen gets it back, pulls it back to Foden, shot blocked. England come close, good opportunity. Bellingham inside the D, lovely little touch there by Foden, deft little touch towards Bellingham. Nice little interchange. Bowen, Foden once again. This is really good football from England. Bellingham on the edge of the area. Belgium defending deep and in numbers. Bellingham, can he get a shot away? They've got everybody back behind the ball by Lukaku. Out towards Chilwell. Level with the penalty area on the left-hand side. Some of the little interchanges there between Bellingham and Foden and Bowen.
The intricacy of the passing there, the quality that they showed. They pulled the Belgian defenders all over. They didn't know where they were. The movement that Bellingham showed, that Bowen showed at Foden, and the quality of the passes that they had between themselves.
Bowen had an excellent game, Jared Bowen. Bellingham forward ball, Foden in a central area. This is Mainu just inside the box. Comes out now towards Gomez. He's pushed forward. Gomez stands over the cross. Bellingham with a header. Couldn't hit the target. Should have hit the target. Goal kick. He knows it. He's just gone and kicked the left-hand post with his left boot in annoyance.
It's a fantastic opportunity for Jude Bellingham, and you can see the frustration on his face. It's a great ball lifted into the box by Joe Gomez. Bellingham finds himself 6 yards from goal, completely unmarked. All he's got to do is hit the target. He doesn't even manage to hit the target. But there's another worry here for Gareth Southgate in their build up to that. Kobe Mainoo just got caught by Doku on the edge of the box, and he's gone down and stayed down. Thankfully he's getting up now.
England's under-21s have beaten Luxembourg by 7-0. Mainoo looks to be okay. Gareth Southgate just having a word with his assistant Steve Holland. Kobe Mainoo making his first start after that cameo appearance at the weekend, and Sells doesn't want to try and risk getting past the England press, so clears long. Chilwell's header runs away from the England captain Declan Rice, the 13th different captain under Gareth Southgate, as the ball is hammered away downfield and Bowen will give chase. A number of the substitutes for Belgium are warming up in front of us down below, as England in their all-purple kit playing from right to left, 10 minutes into the second half, looking for the equaliser as Foden floats a searching ball out towards Chilwell. Castagne's header is picked up by Bellingham, tries to get away from the shackles of Trossard. He runs forward as the Real Madrid player. Mainoo, nice little first touch, gives himself a little bit of time, plays a pacey ball towards Foden, tried to run it through towards Ivan Toney, and it's cleared away by Théat for the Belgian defence.
A lot more involved, hasn't he, Phil Foden, in the second half? I think in the first half, out the three attacking midfielders, just a little bit isolated out wide. He's obviously taken it either upon himself or he's got the manager's instructions to drift in a little bit to join in, and it's him that's causing the trouble now. He's breaking the lines and he's just done it again.
Here is Foden, finds Bellingham. Bellingham lays it off towards Rice. Forward ball towards Chilwell. Rice is available. Bellingham wants it and gets it. Forward ball to Foden. Foden, the return ball to Bellingham, promising a gain from England. Sliding challenge from Onana breaks up the England attack, and now it's picked up by Trossard. And they can run forward, can Belgium. Castagne's making ground on this near side. Tielemans has spotted him. Finds the Fulham defender. Back inside towards Trossard. This is where Belgium can be dangerous. And Tielemans, who's on a hat-trick just outside the D, passes the ball out towards Doku. Left corner of the area, back inside to Tielemans, the return ball to Doku, comes back towards Doku after his first shot was blocked. Twists and turns, Gomez stays tight, and then the ball goes out of play, and it's for a corner kick. Really enjoyable game.
Really enjoyable game, but from Gareth Southgate's point of view, it always seems that when Belgium attack, England are left with last-ditch defending. I mean, they've gone from comfortable possession to the Belgians getting deep inside the box and causing them all kinds of problems. And it's a last-ditch tackle again that gives Belgium a corner. And it's the defending side of the game that will worry Gareth Southgate tonight, because they look so susceptible every time the Belgians press.
Well, in front of their boisterous Belgian support, Belgium have a corner far side, leading by 2-1. In swinging corner, headed out well by Toney. It's another area, of course, that Toney can help out on, as now his sliding challenge is picked up by Bowen. Bowen stopped in his tracks midway through the England half. Tielemans has been superb for Belgium this year. He's been absolutely everywhere.
He's mirrored his club form for Aston Villa, hasn't he? I think when he's had his opportunity this season, I think him and Douglas Luiz in the centre of that midfield, the performances that they've given, but tonight he hasn't. He's been the one that's broke out of midfield. He's joined in with Lukaku, Doku and Trossard coming in off the wings, and I think in this second half England have been a little bit quieter because the two fullbacks from Belgium have pushed on and added more bodies into that midfield.
Well, he's got fond memories of Wembley Stadium, the winner, of course, for Leicester City against Chelsea in the FA Cup final 3 years ago. Certainly his performance tonight, you could say he's been a wily fox. They lead by 2-1. He's got both the goals, as it's with Théat at the back to Vertonghen, the veteran Belgian defender, to his Anderlecht clubmate De Bast. Still remember Wales 0, Poland 0, Ukraine 1, Iceland 1 in those Euro playoffs. Premier League back this weekend on BBC Radio 5 Live. Saturday afternoon, the usual goal service. Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace at 3. Aston Villa at Wolves at 5:30. As Tielemans wriggles away from the challenge, the referee has played the advantage. Out towards Doku, looking threatening, running at pace, enters the penalty area. Doku to Théat on the overlap, crosses the ball inside the 6-yard area. it just avoided the onrushing Tielemans, and Belgium so easily could have had a third.
So easily getting picked open, this English defence on the counter-attack. The pace there, the turn from Tielemans, the ball out wide. Immediately Doku gets it, he runs at Gomez, gets past him, and yet again it's another last-ditch tackle. When England had possession, defensively they struggled tonight.
And after those two games on Saturday, Five Live's Premier League Sunday, Anfield, Liverpool, Brighton at 2, Manchester City, Arsenal at 4:30, also live on BBC Radio 5 Live. The Belgium supporters are making all the noise in that far corner. Incidentally, if England and Belgium were to win their respective groups in the Euros, we could be looking at this as a potential semi-final in Dortmund if it was to go all the way.
I think you take that from an English point of view. Looking at what we've seen tonight, we've seen how dangerous Belgium can be on the break and on the counter-attack, and obviously it's a game that England are not winning, but I've seen enough in the first half from this England team. Look, listen, I genuinely believe that England can beat anybody in a one-off game, but they've showed tonight in the first half they can certainly do that.
Belgium are going to make a change. Leandro Trossard is going to be coming off, and Luca Bacchio is the player who's come on to replace him. Plays for Sevilla. Came on for the last 26 minutes against Ireland at the weekend. Did have that spell at Watford about 6 years ago. Only the one appearance though in 2018 for Watford against West Ham United. And his record for Sevilla this year, 3 goals in his 18 appearances. So he has come on to replace Trossard on that right-hand side. And the first of the 6 substitutions being made by Domenico Tedesco for Belgium, who lead by 2 goals to 1. As we have been playing for an hour here at Wembley Stadium. And Gareth Southgate, I think, would feel a little hard done by if England were to suffer back-to-back defeats at Wembley Stadium for the first time since 2013. And indeed, when it happened against Chile and Germany 11 years ago, that was the first time it happened at Wembley since 1977. So he'll be hoping that they can still salvage something from this friendly. As the ball cut out by Chilwell, Mainu coming under pressure from Castagna, does ever so well to get away, and then he had his legs clipped. And the referee been very, very lenient. For somebody in Austria who averages 5 yellow cards a game, he hasn't produced one yet.
But it's just another example of Kobbie Mainoo there. How good does he look in this England shirt? He's got 3 Belgian players around him. His first thing is he wants to keep possession, but he wriggles away, he gets around Castagna, and he gets away and he's running at the back 4 and they have to foul him. I've been really, really impressed with the youngster tonight, I honestly have.
Well, it was easy to work out that he was going to start this game tonight when Jordan Henderson picked up an injury in training yesterday. In fact, Jordan Henderson didn't even warm up with the substitutes despite him being named on the bench. There's Chilwell forward for England on this near side the left, 10 yards in from the touchline. Mainoo's forward ball finds Bellingham. Bellingham looks to link up with Foden, tries to get away. Foden passes the ball towards Gomez, cuts the ball back. Bowen first time saved by the goalkeeper. Again, though, really, really promising from England. But Sells with a save.
Clever, really, really good quality. The interplay on the edge of the box, again it's Foden, again it's Bowen. This time they work the ball out to the right hand side and it's the overlapping Joe Gomez. Gets the ball in across the box and it's Bowen on the end of it. Doesn't quite get enough purchase on to beat the goalkeeper.
Chilwell just cut out the run of Luca Bacchio on this near side, because England potentially could have been undone on another break there by Belgium. Trailing still England by 2 goals to 1. 62.5 minutes played. Dunk passes the ball to Pickford. All in yellow away towards our right hand side. And the ball is hit long up towards Tony. Bowen makes the run in behind Tony, puts a little bit of pressure on Debas. He goes back to Sells, his keeper, and it's a clearance that Tayat manages to pass in field, but Rice there with the interception. Tony finds space, right hand side, Tony with a cross. Foden sliding back was Onana, headed forward by Mainu. That's a couple of interceptions that Onana has made for Belgium to stop promising England attacks in this second period.
It's a really important one there, sliding back to cover his back 4, just sliding in the left hand side of the box. He's covered a lot of ground tonight, Onana, and it's allowed Tielemans to get into the places where he is now, higher up the field, and be effective.
Konsa is adjudged to have fouled his Aston Villa teammate Tielemans. The Austrian referee will give the free kick to Belgium. Midway through their own half. And Onana is just going to knock it very casually to Castagna. Luca Bacchio closed down very quickly by Chilwell, still snapping away, and unfairly so, says the referee, and that'll be another free kick as Gareth Southgate ponders his next move, deep in discussion with Steve Holland.
You don't mind that from Chilwell, though, in that area of the pitch. You can see the hunger and the desire to close down, and that's what England have had all night, and that's just another example of it. It just shows the game plan, the way that they've been sent out, the way that they want to press. As soon as this hungry side lose the ball, they want to win it back.
Ball over the top to Doku. Keeps the ball in play actually on that left-hand side, and Doku now bursts into the penalty area to Lukaku. First time shot, left-footed, edge of the area, skied it, goal kick, still leading by 2-1.
Worry for England defensively. Again, 2 passes that have undone him, and it's the pace of Doku down that left-hand side. Lukaku finds so much space, 18 yards from goal. Doku pulls it back to him. He can't get over the shot, sends it high and wide over the crossbar, but it was just the ease that England got picked open.
Nice first touch by Bellingham, just dragged it forward to Foden, and Foden's got so much space to run into, and Foden to the area, goes down just inside the box. Bellingham picks up the loose ball, Bellingham sends over the cross, Tony is there, as is Mainu, shot blocked by the goalkeeper, Sells off his line. Tony towards Mainu, ball inside towards Tony, on the stretch. Teat manages to get the ball away. Declan Rice is saying to the referee, was that a penalty? It'll go out of play. Will there be a VAR check?
Well, that's one of the best, most unorthodox saves that I've seen. Matt Sells there, he comes and spreads himself in front of Kobbie Mainoo. The ball breaks to him on the far post. It's a great first touch by Tony. Inadvertently drops to Mainoo, who looks up, and the first thing he sees is the green of Matt Sells right in front of him, and he just spreads himself. The goalkeeper makes a fantastic save.
By the time that the VAR check has been put on the giant screen, players are already back underway from the throw on that far side, so that was dismissed for that challenge on Foden. England, though, are still attacking. Right side. Doku tries to run the ball away. Goes to ground. Gomez might be getting a yellow card here, and he is. The first yellow of the evening goes to the Liverpool defender.
I think he's been quite lenient tonight, the referee, as you said earlier on. I think he's let the game flow, and there's not been that many incidents that he's had to deal with, but he's obviously felt there he's had to give one to Joe Gomez.
Have you had a chance to see it again, the challenge on Foden? Did you think it was a penalty?
I think it'd have been harsh if it was given. He's just looking again at the replay there, but there's a couple of incidents that Phil Foden's not been too pleased with the referee. There was an earlier one where he just missed it, and we went right up into the face of the referee. But again, I'm just watching it now, and it's Onana who's covered so much ground. He's got back goal side of Phil Foden. He gets enough of the ball to make it not a penalty.
Spain 2, Brazil 0 is a latest score from Madrid. We're approaching the midway point of the second half. Belgium are going to be making more changes. They're still leading by 2-1 here on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Wales 0, Poland 0 is on BBC Radio 5 Live in Cardiff. Back it goes to the Forest goalkeeper, Sells. Out then towards that far side. Reared up a little bit towards Teat. Ultimately, Belgium have lost the ball. Here is Rice, the England captain. Ball rolled out now to Bowen. Back inside now to Bellingham. Runs forward. Foden's also there. Dunk midway through the Belgium half. Belgium have got everybody back behind the ball. Now it's with Konsa. Mainu. Rice makes himself available on the halfway line. Foden comes short into the centre circle to collect it. Pings a ball and drives it out towards Chilwell. Took it well off his left boot, but actually then allowed Castagna to be in possession of the ball. But Chilwell stuck to his guns, and it goes out of play for a Belgium throw 10 yards up from the corner flag on this near side. Paul Robinson.
They've done well, England, in this second half to continue the performance that they had in the first half. The pressers, again, it's been impressive. They've not looked as comfortable in possession, but I think the way that the Belgian team have hurt this England team on the counter-attack, there's a lot of positives you can take, but actually the negatives are the susceptibility of the back four, how easy it has been to get at them to create the opportunities. But we said so many times tonight, the interchange of Bowen, Foden, Bellingham, Mainu, the pace that they do it at, the way that they create chances, they're going to be a handful for anybody if they play like this.
Double change in the offing for Belgium. Whilst Paul was talking, England have got a corner kick on that far side, the right. We're going to have Branks and Meunier going to be coming on for Belgium. England trail by 2-1. Foden waits to take the corner kick on that far side, the right. Just over 20 minutes remaining at Wembley Stadium. Foden runs up now, curls over the corner. It was headed up rather than away by Onana, and then eventually gathered in by the outstretched arm of Matt Sells, the 32-year-old, only making his 8th appearance for his country tonight, the Nottingham Forest keeper. Luca Bacchio on the inside of Chilwell. There was a tug back at the arm there of Luca Bacchio by Chilwell. The referee, though, I don't think he saw it. Didn't seem to indicate that the advantage had been played, and Chilwell was able, as a result, to get back into his left-back position. Onana at a walking pace. Still it continues to rain, and then the referee has now given a foul for a challenge on Onana, and now we can have the double change that is going to be made.
Substitutions for Belgium.
And it is going to be Arthur Théat who's going to be going off. So that's one of the first changes that are going to be being made. I just wonder if Meunier will come in at right back and Castagna then will switch to left back. That's exactly what will happen.
I'm just watching. He has been sent over there as Castagna now. He drops into right to left back.
And then the other change is going to be Yuri Tielemans, who actually stops to applaud the Belgian supporters. The last hat-trick in this fixture was in 1929. It was George Campsell. There's never been a Belgium hat-trick, and Yuri Tielemans might have changed that he just has to settle for the 2 goals after a very impressive display, the Aston Villa player. And Aster Branks of Wolfsburg comes on to replace him in the midfield.
Been excellent, hasn't he, Yuri Tielemans? I think from a Belgian point of view, he's without doubt been their player of the match. Obviously the 2 goals speak for themselves, but I think he's interchanged the way he's played with Lukaku, and his all-round contribution has been top-notch tonight.
Luca Bacchio, right-hand side for Belgium, leading still by 2-1. Twists one way and then twists the other, and then passes the ball inside. And that was a ball that comes out, and Castagna has the shot on the edge of the area, blocked by Bowen. James Maddison is going to be coming on for England, bearing in mind that they played the full 90 on Saturday. Declan Rice and Phil Foden wasn't necessarily expecting 72 minutes into this game for them both still to be playing.
Well, you do wonder what the initial plan was, or what Gareth Southgate's thoughts were before the game, but I think you can look at this now and he can see that his team are not far away from getting back into this game. He's not going to want to change it too much, because he can see how well his team are playing, he can see the creating chances, and actually he doesn't want another defeat. He wants to leave his players out there and get the result.
Well, they are trailing at the moment still with those goals in the first half by 2-1 still, as Dunk comes forward. Maddison getting his final instructions. Belgian supporters are making themselves heard. Dunk out to concert. They've won 8 and drawn 4 of their last 12 games. They're on their best run for 3 years, as Bowen, sprightly, running forward, right-hand side. Ball spins up in the air. Gomez plays it back. Mainu let it run through. Doku now can try and get away. Good sliding challenge by Bellingham, keeps the ball in play. Bellingham tussling for it. Doku then is curbed and thwarted. The ball will run loose, and then it's spread out to this near side, and the ball by Meunier, who's actually wearing gloves, plays his football now for Trabzonspor after leaving Borussia Dortmund in February on a free. Brazil have got a goal back in Madrid. Spain 2, Brazil 1. Ball forward. This is Mangala, unmarked, right-hand side of the penalty area. Mangala with the cutback, and that is stopped by Rice, and now the late flag goes up. And now we'll see Maddison coming on. And the player who's going to be going off is Kobbie Mainoo. So the third youngest Manchester United player to start for England, behind Duncan Edwards and Marcus Rashford. And Kobbie Mainoo can be extremely pleased with an assured performance as his first start for his country.
Yeah, no, he's been excellent, he really has. And I think the biggest compliment you can pay him is he certainly hasn't looked out of place, and he's been one of the better players on the pitch. Now he's just, Gareth Southgate just had a word in his ear as he's coming off, so did Steve Holland. You can see the impact that this young man's made on this team already, and I certainly would not be surprised to see him in a narrowed down 23-man squad.
Certainly done his chances no harm whatsoever. Maddison rolls the ball forward to Foden. Foden on the left with the cross. Bowen was arriving late. Castagna tucked in now as a left back to clear the ball away up towards Lukaku. Dunk though wins that particular duel on this occasion as Bellingham passes the ball back. We've got just over a quarter of an hour remaining. England still trailing by 2-1. Chilwell, Foden up against Meunier. Foden, Maddison comes short. Foden darts forward, then he was caught late, passes the ball out towards Maddison, tries to wriggle away from Meunier. Chilwell offers his support behind him, 25 yards out from goal. Infield now to Bellingham, goes further square, infield then to Rice, passes the ball out to Gomez, the right back pushed on, now looking for the run of Bowen, but it was just a little bit overhit, that pass, and Bowen was not going to keep that ball in play, and it runs out for a goal kick, and it's still England 1, Belgium 2.
Just watching how they line up now James Maddison's come on. We talked about this press, what they have with Ivan Toney on the edge of the box, and it's Maddison who's actually going out of the midfield three to go and join him. He's going to be the most advanced player. Foden's out on this left hand side, Bellingham in the middle, Bowen on the right, and it looks like Maddison's going to play in and around Ivan Toney.
The voice of the former England international goalkeeper Paul Robinson, who was England's number 1 the last time they headed to Germany for a major tournament. And England, the time frame, will have that training squad announced on the 21st of May, probably looking at 28 names. That has to be whittled down to 23 after they've played Bosnia at St James's Park on the 3rd of June and Iceland here at Wembley on the 7th of June. The squad has to be submitted the day later on the 8th. There's Konsa to Rice. Rice passes the ball to Bowen. Cut out on that far side by Vertonghen. Clatters it out of play for a throw. 14 minutes remaining. England all in purple, playing from right to left. Have a throw right hand side.
Do you know what? You can judge England's performance tonight on the crowd. There's a Mexican wave going around the stadium, and I've not seen one paper aeroplane so far tonight. So at least they've been entertained tonight.
Well, the paper planes, what did Gareth Southgate say yesterday? I'm not a paper plane man. Here is Mangala. Certainly had a number of opportunities of England. Those defensive errors proving costly. They're the errors that they've got to try and cut out. It's a lively atmosphere, being helped by those 2,800 Belgium supporters on the far side. But will we see an England equaliser in the closing 13 minutes, Paul? What were the stats there?
62% possession. I mean, we looked at it in the first half and they were near an 80% possession. They haven't been as effective as they were in the first half. They have dropped off a little bit. I think they are slightly worried about being so defensively susceptible at times, and they know that Belgium have got the pace and they prove that they can hurt them, especially with Doku down that left-hand side. But England's dominance with Rice, with Foden, with Bellingham, the possession that they have in midfield, it's instants like now on the turnover possession, you worry for them.
Anthony Gordon, who impressed Gareth Southgate in that defeat against Brazil, and Ollie Watkins are going to be coming on as Luka Bacchio curls in a left-footed cross that is over everybody's head and curls all the way out of play. So these will be substitutes 2 and 3 for Gareth Southgate, with 12 minutes remaining and attacking changes that are being made. And we'll wait to see who will come off. Imagine Jared Bowen would be one, as England in field to Maddison, waits. Chilwell arms aloft. Bowen just does well, nudges it past his man. Bowen's still going. Bowen passes the ball towards Foden. Foden with a shot off target, dragged it left-footed wide. Excellent play by Bowen, and Foden unlucky. England unlucky, still trailing 2-1.
Brilliant by Bowen, really direct, edge of the box, takes 2, takes 3 on, looks up and he sees Phil Foden on the edge of the right back shoulder, picks him out the outside of his left foot in a really good position. Foden looks up, cracks a shot, and he just drags it across the face of the goal. Doesn't quite get it, but again, really good by Jarrod Bowen, really good awareness to find Foden, and just at the last minute he just snatches at his shot and pulls it wide.
In fact, it substitutes 3 and 4, and this will be, so there'll be no debut for Jarrad Branthwaite, because this is the third and final opportunity for Gareth Southgate to make changes, and he'll have used them all up. He's only going to use 4 of his substitutes of his entitlement of 6.
And that's one thing that he potentially has been questioned for in the past, isn't it? His in-game management and being more reactive than proactive, and the substitutions that he makes in games at times don't affect games.
Well, Jarrod Bowen is coming off, and he's been outstanding, and he's getting a standing ovation from some of the supporters here in the main stand at Wembley. So Anthony Gordon comes on for Jarrod Bowen, and then Ivan Toney comes off and gets an embrace from his England manager. Ivan Toney on his first start with the England goal, and in particular in the first half did very, very well. So Ollie Watkins comes on, and we have just over 10 minutes remaining. And now Gordon infield to Maddison, returns the ball towards Gordon. Sliding back was Onana once again. So effective.
The engine that he's had tonight, the work that he's put in, getting back and making such important tackles, Onana. He's worked tirelessly, box to box. He's made some really important challenges.
Chilwell inside, Dunk. Although Branthwaite hasn't made his England debut in either of these 2 games, they will have had an opportunity to have had a good look at the Everton defender. Chilwell to Gordon. Bellingham with the turn. Twists, sends over the cross. Headed away by Castagna. Acrobatic clearance by Luca Bacchio. 3 changes are going to be made by Belgium in the closing stages, as they still lead by 2 goals to 1. And we're going to see Openda as one of them. Wout Faes, the Leicester City defender, is another. And Michy Batshuayi is going to be coming on as well, as it goes out of play for a goal kick. I think Batshuayi for Romelu Lukaku, Belgium's leading goal scorer. 83 goals that he's scored in 113 appearances. Batshuayi, who's been prolific for Fenerbahce this season. 21 goals that he scored out in Turkey. Openda, who's been doing well for Leipzig as well. So 2 attacking changes that are going to be made by Tedesco, and Wout Faes as a defender to try and shore things up in the closing stages.
It's an example of the squad depth of Belgium, isn't it? When you look at the type of players that he's bringing onto the field now, the experience that he's bringing on, and the quality that he's bringing on, the changes he's able to make.
So Mangala is one of the players who's going to be going off. Mangala comes off. Wout Faes is coming on. And who's that coming off there? It's De Bast, the central defender. So Faes comes on to replace De Bast. And then the other change is Batshuayi for Lukaku and Openda for Mangala. We got there in the end, Paul.
I was just going to say, a pair of us frantically looking at our notes, making changes. And thank you to Gary Flintoft, our producer, for helping us out there and keeping an eye on things that helped us out with the substitutions. But again, it does show the depth of quality of the Belgian squad. And you look at the Euros and you look at what England are up against. Yes, England are favourites for the Euros, but they've showed in these 2 games against Brazil, against Belgium, they're up against the likes of France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Holland. They've got a really tough task. In a one-off game, I've no doubt that England can beat anybody, but defensively they are susceptible, as they've shown.
Although you'd have to caveat that by saying that this starting 11 probably only had about 5 that you would say would be definite starters for that opening game in Gelsenkirchen.
but there's a few of them that certainly put their name forward in a big way.
Very much so.
The scoreline doesn't tell the full story.
No.
I mean, we've had our eyes on this game tonight, and England have been very, very good, bar 2 individual mistakes.
Bellingham finds Gordon. Gordon sees a little space, links up, edge of the area, crosses the ball now towards Foden. Foden tries to nick it into the path of Gomez. Rice will win the ball back over on that far side, keeps the ball in play on the right. 6 minutes of normal time remaining. Ukraine have come from behind. They now lead Iceland by 2-1, and Chelsea's Mudryk has got the goal in Wroclaw that could actually see them clinch a place in Group E to take on Romania, Slovakia and the Belgians in the Euros this summer. So Ukraine lead by 2-1, the deadlock yet to be broken in Cardiff, as Bellingham tries to stroke it into the path of Gomez. Doku with the interception, makes a diagonal run across his own half, and then Onana passes the ball back. Vertonghen quickly releases it out towards Castagna now as a left back. Just over 5 minutes remaining, and Belgium, who didn't have the best of records against England in the early stages. England had lost 3 of their last 4 against Belgium, after losing only 1 of the first 21 between 1921 and 2012. But Belgium in recent times have certainly had the upper hand, and they might be getting another victory here again at Wembley with 5 minutes remaining.
Well, under Dominic Tedesco, the new manager, they're certainly on a winning run at the moment, and they come into this game 12 unbeaten, as you said, and you can see why. We talked about squad depth, we talked about the stubbornness of the defence. 3 clean sheets in a row before this game, and you can see that they are still a team with a lot of quality. And there's one name that we haven't mentioned tonight, Kevin De Bruyne.
Yes.
I mean, you put a player of that quality into this side that's already impressed us on the counter-attack tonight. They're still a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, very much so. Courtois, De Bruyne, Dendoncker, all unavailable through injury. But certainly Kevin De Bruyne would be a real asset to any side, as Luka Bacchio, strong run, tries to play the ball forward to Batshuayi. Dunk, though, cuts it out inside the penalty area. Chilwell will run it clear on this near side, then actually stops midway through his own half, about 6 yards in from the left touch line. Bellingham now takes over as he trots his way towards the halfway line. Bellingham then has gone to ground, and he was just caught fractionally late, and the referee will give the free kick to England 6 yards inside the Belgium half, and then it's been knocked short by Bellingham, who's just wincing as he looks up to the heavens as it continues to pour down at Wembley, and a lot of empty red seats are now starting to appear in a crowd, incidentally, of here at Wembley of 80,733. Gomez is forward, right hand side, sends over a cross into the air. Gordon couldn't quite bring it under control. Chilwell is there. Chilwell then runs into a wall, goes down, completely checked outside the area, and they were appealing for something there where for England it was just outside the penalty area, I think, as Belgium out of play it goes for a throw, but Chilwell is lying face down in the wet turf.
Just run into a load of traffic, hasn't he? Gets the opportunity again at the edge of the box, and he just runs into a crowd of Belgian defenders, and you can't really quite make out what he's done. You look at it now, he's had a really good touch, and it's Meunier. He puts the ball just round the side of Meunier. Meunier, to his credit, he does nothing wrong, he just stands his ground, and Chilwell's just trying to get round him and he can't. He runs straight into him. It's an unfortunate collision. The Belgian defender had every right to stand his ground.
Might have got a dead leg in the process as well. He's hobbling quite badly at the moment, Ben Chilwell. He's going to have to try and run it off. The gloves, incidentally, didn't last long for Thomas Meunier. He's dispensed with those as England have a throw on the left-hand side here on Sports Extra, still trailing by 2-1. And now Bellingham. Germany 2, Netherlands 1. Füllkrug has got that goal for Germany in one of the other friendly internationals elsewhere across Europe. Foden, midway through the Belgium half, holds onto the ball and then eventually passes it towards Rice. He wants to return. Rice, though, hangs on to it, comes forward, does well, does Rice, threads it to Gomez, level with the penalty area on the right hand side. The ball back into to Rice, feeds it back towards Gomez, cuts it back now to Foden. Foden tees up Bellingham. Bellingham with a shot, right footed, blocked by Castagna. It was a good block too. High in the air, it goes almost back towards the halfway line. Where is Declan Rice to tidy things up for England?
Same again, England now. They're really dominant in possession. Belgium just trying to see the game out as we get nearer and nearer to injury time, but it's Foden on the attack again.
Here is Foden. Gomez with the early cross, cut out by Wout Faes. You mentioned about the Mexican wave. I've just seen the first paper aeroplane drift its way down in front of us as England win the ball back. Here is Foden in the penalty area. Foden couldn't get the shot away. He goes to ground, but Tongan gets the ball clear. England finishing strongly, but time running out. Under 2 minutes remain, trailing 2-1.
I think that's a bit harsh. Paper aeroplanes coming down. Like I say, I think it's been a good watch tonight. You don't often get that in friendlies. I think England have played well. There's a lot of positives that they can take from tonight. Defensively, they have looked to be troubled at times, only on the counter-attack. But going forward, you know, you take out the back four, you look at the midfield too, the three and behind Tony. Everyone to a man has been excellent.
Chilwell struggling to run. He was only half fit there, although he still managed to take out Luka Bacchio.
That's what you do if you can't run.
There'll be a few managers maybe watching this and thinking, notice Foden hobbling earlier, but that dead leg he's struggling to shake off is Chilwell. He really is feeling the effects of that, but we've got 30 seconds remaining of normal time. England 1, Belgium 2 is the scoreline. England last suffered back-to-back defeats 2 years ago, but here at Wembley it was the first time in 11 years that it's happened inside this stadium, as Rice puts pressure on Onana, and there was just a little bit of a late challenge, and Onana goes to ground and gets the free kick from the Austrian referee, and Maddison has been booked for dissent.
Been very good tonight, Onana, in that centre of midfield. I've said before about his work rate, the amount of ground that he's covered, the important tackles that he's put in, and there's just a little coming together between him and Declan Rice. Just after Declan Rice just nibbled at him there, give away the free kick, the pair of them have been walking around for the last 20 yards head to head.
Vertonghen passes the ball out to Castagna. England again with a press, with a turnover, and now with Bellingham, passes the ball back towards Rice. Rice infield to Bellingham. Short forward ball, Maddison, turn, sharp by Foden, comes back towards Bellingham, and then Onana again, just with a clearance, just at the right time, and now all of a sudden there's a counter-attack for Belgium, and it's Doku, and Luka Bacchio is totally unmarked. He can find him, and he does find him, and then Luka Bacchio slips right at the last moment as his right-footed shot is carved well wide. We're into 4 minutes of added on time.
I don't think that's fair to compare that to England's defensive weaknesses during the game, because you look at the stage in the game where England are committing bodies forward, they are going to leave the self open at the back, and I think, listen, if they're chasing any game, that's not a defensive weakness, that's just committing too many bodies forward.
Well, before the weekend they'd lost 1 of 28 at Wembley. It'll be back-to-back defeats. It'll just be 3 defeats in their last 30 at the National Stadium. As Declan Rice to Chilwell. 2 more minutes remain of added on time. The Belgium supporters are celebrating. The red scarves are being swirled around their heads. It's a triumphant mood as the ball played forward by Maddison, headed away by Faes, helped further away in that midfield by Openda, and it goes out to Chilwell on this near side. Foden comes out to collect it, links up with Maddison. His forward ball takes a deflection. Bellingham with a challenge, almost reached Phil Foden, cleared by Faes. And we've got 90 seconds remaining here on Sports Extra. Maddison's forward ball, Foden first time touch to Gordon, back towards Foden, again nice interchange. Gordon then out towards Gomez. Gomez delivers a flat ball in, hasn't been dealt with. This is Bellingham with a chance to try and get something, and he shoots left-footed, and it takes a deflection and it loops agonisingly over the top for a corner kick.
It's a last-ditch tackle by Wout Faes, just saves his team there. Jude Bellingham does really well, just works his way to the edge of the 6-yard box. Just as he pulls the trigger, Wout Faes puts his body on the line, makes a brilliant block, concedes his team a corner, but saves a certain goal.
England certainly don't deserve to have lost this game, but they are very, very close to a defeat. 60 seconds remain. Foden with a corner, it's high, Rice heads it goalwards, headed further out by Vertonghen, edge of the area, Maddison climbs, England win the ball. The referee though said that was a free kick And a foul by Maddison, who's got to be careful. He's already been booked for dissent, and he's certainly in the ear of the referee.
Yeah, it's almost a silly one from James Maddison there. He goes up to win the ball, but he puts his arm across a fender. He's not going to win the ball, and he just gives away a free kick just as England were trying to get a little bit of momentum towards the end of this game.
If you're listening on Sports Extra, then I would suggest once this game is finished, you turn straight over to 5 Live Sport, because in Cardiff it has finished after 90 minutes. Wales 0, Poland 0. They're going to extra time. Switzerland have beaten the Republic of Ireland by 1-0, and France lead Chile by 3-1. Olivier Giroud has got the 3rd goal, but by my watch the 4 minutes are all but up. England have got a free kick. It's midway through their own half as the supporters head towards the exits. They're preventing a free kick from being taken, and that is going to result in a yellow card, and Batshuayi is booked for not retreating the 10 yards. And the 4 minutes are up. So we're now at the discretion of the referee as Pickford goes long. Dunk is forward, edge of the area, the header on by Maddison. Watkins heads it back, keeps it alive. Maddison flicks it back. Bellingham! Bellingham with his first goal at Wembley Stadium, and England deserved that. They salvage a draw. They never gave up hope. Jude Bellingham with the equaliser deep into stoppage time. He runs away and celebrates. It's his 3rd goal for his country, but it's his first at Wembley Stadium. His name rings around this famous ground, and England have got it back at 2-2.
And it's nothing more than he and England deserve. We're into the 94th plus minute. England's playing out from the back. All goes out the window. Jordan Pickford launches it deep into the Belgian box. Dunk wins the header. Maddison does brilliantly well to keep it alive. Very, very clever. The outside of his right foot reverses it to Jude Bellingham, who takes a touch 12 yards out, and he's the coolest man in Wembley Stadium. Strokes it into the bottom left-hand corner of Sells' goal, and England have got nothing more than they deserve.
Absolutely. Would have been extremely harsh to have ended this game with a defeat, but they never gave up. They were pressing. Gareth Southgate actually makes a point of acknowledging the Wembley crowd as he applauds the 4 sides of Wembley. The full-time whistle has sounded, and just as it was in 1964, it's finished 2-2, and Belgium are still searching for their first win on English soil.
Really, really good performance by England tonight. If they'd have come away from that game losing, they certainly deserved it. Talked about defensively, individual errors cost them. Going forward, Mainu, Rice, Bowen, Bellingham, Foden, Tony, Watkins, they were excellent tonight, the way they pressed, the other options that they gave England. They played with a high tempo, and they certainly didn't deserve to go away from this game losing. And it's funny, all the fantastic intricacy that they've had tonight, all the good play, all the nice moves that they had. It takes one long kick from Jordan Pickford, a header from a centre-half, and a fantastic finish by Bellingham. England get at least something from this game, and Gareth Southgate's talk in the dressing room, his press conference will be very, very different. He can now focus on a lot of positives.
Because it's funny, isn't it? Sometimes when you lose a game, people can look at the scoreline. Back-to-back defeats doesn't happen very often. As we were saying, 2013 was the last time it's happened here at Wembley. But when you've put in a performance like that, England deserves something from the game.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. And we're guilty quite often of focusing on mistakes and focusing on poor results rather than performances and individual performances. As a whole, that was a very, very good England performance tonight, with 2 or 3 individual errors. Defensively, they look susceptible at times, but let's focus on what they did well tonight. I always say about England defending their weaknesses rather than playing to their strengths. Tonight, they played to their strengths, and those attacking players on the pitch were very impressive.
If I asked you who your man of the match would be, you'd have a number of candidates.
Absolutely, and they're all in the forward areas for England. Mainu, the way that he looked, he looked completely at home at this level. Jared Bowen, I thought, was excellent. Jude Bellingham. They had a number of players tonight who will have impressed the manager. Not often do players who are on the fringes come into a team, get given an opportunity and take the chance. There's a number of players out there on that pitch tonight that did.
And as for, these were 2 high-profile games, 2 really good tests for England now going into what Gareth Southgate's going to name his training squad on the 21st of May.
Well, there's 2 performances that were night and day, Ian, to be honest. I mean, I was here, you watched the Brazil game. and there was a lot of negativity after that performance. Yes, we were playing Brazil, but the way that they played, the lack of creativity, the lack of threats that they had going forward on the Brazil goal, to the team that came out tonight in such a short space of time, with the injury hit side that Gareth Southgate's got, the way he had to patch his side up, there's certainly players in there that have made a real case to get on that plane to Germany.
Well, we certainly had late drama. It's been a very entertaining game, and this has finished England 2, Belgium 2, with Jude Bellingham getting that 95th minute equaliser. And if you want more drama, then I suggest you retune, whether you're listening on BBC Sounds or indeed on the good old wireless, to 5 Live and 5 Live Sport, because they've just started extra time of Wales 0, Poland 0 in that European Championship playoff. So commentary of that is now on 5 Live from Cardiff. But thank you for listening to our coverage here on 5 Sports Extra. Don't forget, at the weekend, more live football.